If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world If you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side. So if you feel passion as I do, let the world know our love is true. It's time for you, let yourself go. Oh, if you don't take this chance, you never know, never know. If you wanna be my dream come true, I will open my arms just for you. Lose myself when I look at you. My feelings are true, oh so true. When the sun is rising up, I'll be there for you. When you're waking up in my arms, when the sun is going down, we'll be dancing together all night long by my side.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to the Kings League Arena in Milan for the second day of the quarterfinals of the Kings World Cup Nations. Colombia and Morocco have already set up what will be a thrilling semi-final, and there are 2 spots left as we begin the countdown to Torino. Joining me for the action here today is Patrick Kendrick. Patrick, welcome. You were here for the action yesterday, and it certainly didn't disappoint.
Hi, Simon. Yeah, more than lived up to expectations. 2 fabulous games of Kings League action yesterday, and once more the Moroccans packed out the Kings League Arena here on the south side of Milan. A reminder that yes, we're in Milan today as we have been since the start of 2025, but we will decamp on Sunday to Turin, Allianz Stadium, the home of Juventus, for not only the final of the Kings World Cup Nations, but also the Legends Against Streamers match. These are live pictures, Simon, from the warm-up between Brazil and Türkiye, who will be coming up very shortly. But let's take a recap of what we saw yesterday, beginning with that first quarter-final. Colombia far too strong for Uzbekistan, winning by 6-1. The Uzbeks never really got going, despite the fact that James Rodriguez, a Colombian legend, actually ended up missing his presidential penalty. Not that it cost the Cafeteros on that occasion. And then the game of the day, arguably the game of the tournament, between the United States, who had video messages from Serie A stars Tim Weah, Wes McKennie and Christian Pulisic. But in the end, it was Morocco with their Kings League stars of Nadir and Fouad in particular, who sent the game to a shootout. Morocco prevailed on that shootout. That's why they'll be playing Colombia. That's the first semi-final tomorrow. Simon will be joined once again by Thomas Lawrence. And then the second semi-final will come after that, Simon, and we'll find out who's going to be in that last 4 clash later on this evening. That's
exactly what we're going to find out, because we have 2 more mouth-watering quarterfinals. Argentina against Mexico, the all-Latin affair here. No love lost between the 2 nations, and Brazil against Turkey. Brazil-Turkey will be the first game, but let's first take a look at what happened yesterday with another fantastic performance from Nadir Lua, Patrick.
Indeed, Nadir got Morocco off to the perfect start, after which it was a flurry of goals from the United States, and that's why Edwin Castro, their president in particular, was pretty lively. Pollo scored, having made a save. There was an unguarded goal and he fizzed it in. That was Pollo Cortés, and the United States came back from 1-0 down to lead 2-1. Then they won a penalty. Luis Morales being fouled inside the box. He would pick himself up, dust himself down and convert the penalty. That's why Morales was given the green armband in the second half, the star player. And the penguin dance as well there to celebrate, which my colleague Thomas Lawrence really enjoyed emulating. That was a deflected strike from Iraqi to get Morocco back to within one. It was 3-2 to the US at this stage, but the game still had plenty to run. Another goal from Pollo Cortés, believe it or not, and an absolute beauty from him as well. He had a very powerful message pre-match, and still they pressed forward. That was a stunner from Benitez as well. The US looked like they were cruising through until it became the Fouad show. He scored several shootouts. One was, instead of a presidential penalty, they delegated to Fouad. Then they pulled their secret car, which was also a shootout, and Fouad deposited it after Edwin Castro had rather surprisingly scored his penalty there. Beautifully taken by him, and he would follow it up with the Trump dance, which again Thomas Lawrence delighted us in up here in the broadcast booth by emulating. But there was a crucial moment here when they would get a goal. Saoud just about controlling, stabbing it home to keep Morocco alive, much to the delight of Elias, their president. And that was arguably one of the goals of the tournament. Benitez picking it up deep, exchanging passes and thrashing it into the top corner. Then another shootout from Fouad, just about. This was a buzzer beater. It was initially ruled out, only for a VAR check to show that he had got the shot away before the time had elapsed. The goal stood. And then this to set up the shootout in the first place. It was Fouad to Nadir. That was 7-7. They were 7-5 down. That came in the final 2 minutes of play. And then into the shootout we would go. Nice bit of skill there to go round the goalkeeper, but it was more misses than goals we saw in the shootout, and eventually the US would miss their final attempt, and that's why the Moroccans would celebrate long into the night here in Milan and indeed back home in the Maghreb.
Yeah, unbelievable atmosphere from the Moroccans, although Castro was spoiling us with the celebrations, but the hotel, the reception for the Moroccan team when they arrived to the hotel was something to behold. Look at these images, absolutely fantastic. It's been a little bit of a Moroccan takeover in Milano here, as the Atlas Lions and their fans coming down, converging as they hope to reach Torino. And what about these scenes from Morocco itself? This, the house of Moroccan President Elias, assaulted by all the fans who are outside there. Elias commemorating, or rather celebrating with his supporters. Some absolutely wonderful scenes.
And these are live pictures, as I said, of the warm-up between our first game of the day, Brazil up against Türkiye. That's all to come, but we will continue by going through our roundup of yesterday's action and a reminder of just how much support we've had from you back home. We have already had more than 1.9 million devices, but the Colombians were greeted by a star player, and one of the most recognizable players in the entire Colombian nation, James by name, James Rodriguez, his full name, former star for the likes of Monaco, Porto, Real Madrid, a spell at Bayern Munich as well. In fact, he's still an active player. There's talk of him moving to Major League Soccer. We weren't able to get him up here to ask him about what his future plans were, but he was very amenable to supporters and indeed streamers alike. We saw him patiently posing for selfies, signing autographs, and James, as the president for Colombia, would indeed take a penalty during their match which was very one-sided, Simon.
Yeah, Colombia, one of the pre-tournament favourites, taking an early lead with a really thumping effort there. The Colombians have had plenty of support. You can see James Rodriguez there, the star of the 2014 World Cup. This, another goal, wonderful goal from the goalkeeper, catching Yankirov out of position there, and it was really one-way traffic throughout this quarter-final. There was a hit on the post there from the Uzbeks, who, as you can see from the president's demeanor there, were quite unhappy with the performance overall. Colombia just too powerful, too good. Another easy finish after a clever 1-2 down the middle. James Rodriguez, however, did miss his penalty, or rather it was saved brilliantly. James, whom you would have backed really from that sort of position to put it away, as he has done time and time again throughout his career. The Uzbek president, meanwhile, also putting this one wide. That could have been possibly a turning point. James Rodriguez remaining very stoic in the way that he celebrated that. that one of the best goals we've seen on the volley, over the shoulder, Robin van Persie-esque from Colombia. There was a consolation no for Uzbekistan as another brilliant save. Colombia doing really well to keep the ball out. The Uzbeks playing the ball around the back, and eventually there was that one goal for Uzbekistan. At least no clean sheet for Colombia in the game. The shootout, which was a wild miss.
And a reminder of what is to come. That was yesterday's action, but we have a pair of fixtures, the two remaining quarterfinals today at the Kings League Arena here in Milan. First up, Brazil, Kelvin Oliveira et al. Against Türkiye. Later on, Argentina featuring a special former professional star player. We're keeping tight-lipped about that for the moment. They're up against Mexico. Mexico have been very impressive with the likes of Obed Martinez. So stay with us. We are building up to Brazil against Turkey.
Yeah,
and Argentina against Mexico.
Who will have a really, really special guest. And I'll tell you what, have a look at this.
Jero. Obviamente conoces a Obed Martínez. Le tiene miedo, ¿verdad? ¿Le tienes miedo? Para mí el verdadero corona de oro. 2 MVPs y además no se los regalan, ¿eh? No te vayas a enojar. 7 goles, Jero. 8, pero 1 fue doble. Quiere decir que es como el más bueno. El más bueno. No tienes un delantero como él. Te da miedo. Te da miedo, ya te lo dijiste.
Me cansaste, whatever. ¿Qué pasó acá? ¿Vamos a jugar? Ya se va. Mira la cara ahora.
El superstar Sergio El Kun Agüero will be in attendance for Argentina. Argentina against Mexico. What a game that promises to be. That'll be the second game after Brazil against Türkiye. We can see both teams that are warming up here with, of course, the main man, Kelvin Oliveira, who will be one of the big stars of the show. Argentina, who defeated Spain 4-2 in the first game, which really got Spain's back against the walls. That was a fiercely contested match. De La Mata and Luis Sanchez with one of the goals of the tournament, beating Victor Vidal, who was off his line. Sanchez, who's been excellent throughout the tournament. Pelaz missing a header from close range. And as the game got nitty and gritty, a couple of yellow cards in that one as well. But in the end, Argentina had just a little bit too much for Spain. And Argentina, who were then able to beat Japan, Kendrick.
They were indeed. Argentina showing their class against Japan in particular. And this was a lovely ball through. That goal was initially ruled out for offside. A VAR check then allowed it to be overturned. A stunning finish into the top corner there. And the Argentines were absolutely loving life. It was fairly one-sided, but Japan would make it a little bit interesting towards the end, especially when they converted their presidential penalty into the top corner. But in the end, Argentina winning by 2-1. A reminder then, you have seen that we are going to be graced by one of the best football players of his generation, and we're going to see him in Kings League action. We are talking about Sergio El Kun Agüero, the former Manchester City and Argentina star.
And now we move on to have a closer look to their opponents, Mexico. Mexico will take on Argentina, as we've said, in that all-Latin affair. Mexico, who lost their opening match to the United States of America 4-2. Obed Martinez, who was quick off the mark, but then they defeated Saudi Arabia in the second game. A real landslide victory there for the Mexican side, 8-4 in total. In the last chance match, Mexico put Germany to the sword. The Germans never really coming close to troubling the Mexicans in a performance that was a little bit lackluster from the Germans, you have to say. Mo Leitner not having the best game in that one, but Monterde with a phenomenal strike, the goalkeeper, to get Mexico's goal there. And then the Mexicans just kept on the pressure. More gamesmanship, more awareness. Noah Jones denied by Monterde, who was a real star in the game, coming up with the saves, getting some good goals as well. This was a decent one, a nice header. And then Obed Martinez, who continues to star in the tournament with a couple of good goals as they continued. This one, the pick of the bunch, into the opposite top corner. Som, who had an opportunity a little bit further, as both Preston penalties were saved. Obed Martinez early on in the last 2 minutes of play getting a double goal, which was crucial. But the key players...
Well, there's the first one, and if you're not familiar with him, that's Sergio El Kun Agüero, a hero for Manchester City. 184 goals in the English top flight, the Premier League, the most ever by a foreign player. President of Cuni Sports as well in the Spanish Kings League, and as well as Manchester City, also played for Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, along with his national team, the Albiceleste, who will be representing today, Simon.
Yeah, it'll be a privilege to watch Kun Agüero play, but this guy will also be a handful for Argentina. Obed Martinez, one of the top scorers of the competition, 7 goals so far. He and Nadir Lua going head-to-head for that golden boot, shall we say. Scored a double against Germany in the last match. Obed Martinez, who is widely expected to be one of the favourites for the Corona de Oro next season in Kings League.
But Brazil are going to be first up against Türkiye, and this is how they have made it thus far to the quarterfinals. Flawless passage so far from the Seleção, putting 7 past Korea, only conceding 4. Gaules, their president, is a very interesting character. We had a chat to him off-air earlier on. We're hoping possibly to be able to speak to him later as well. Watch this space, but the Koreans were denied with their presidential penalty, and Brazil just boasts so much quality in their ranks with the likes of Kelvin Oliveira, amongst others. That was Jefinho scoring there. And Kelvin Oliveira has also been one of the key marksmen. They're wearing that green armband, which means anytime you score that, and it's valid for 1 goal, it is worth double. Korea did likewise, but in the end they were just no match whatsoever for the Brazilians, who then beat Germany by 9 goals to 2, albeit this scoreline was inflated somewhat by the unique laws of the game of the Kings League, notably that in the final 2 minutes of the match, if the scoreline is not equal, then goals are worth double, and Brazil in double quick time went from leading 5-2 to eventually winning 9-2. They scored twice in that 2-minute period at the end, but this was Kelvin Oliveira who scored a quick-fire hat-trick, beginning with the stutter step penalty. Then he was provided with an absolute gift, and Brazil far too strong for Germany, despite them getting a goal late on. Nothing more than a consolation from Pascal Som, and in the end it was Brazil, with that Steph Curry-inspired celebration, who have now scored an astonishing 16 goals en route to this stage.
But it might be one of the biggest tests for Brazil against Türkiye. Kelvin Oliveira, who has scored in every Kings match he has played so far and has 22 goals in 10 matches, is of course the star man for the Brazilian side. The Turkish defence, led by Memo Sousa, are going to have to keep a very, very close eye on Kelvin Oliveira.
They are, but Türkiye have a very promising player of their own. They've been rock solid defensively. They kept a clean sheet, which is why Oktay Kazan is one of the goalkeepers who's conceded the fewest goals in this, and he's also made more saves than anyone else so far in this inaugural edition of the Kings World Cup Nations. An astonishing 27 stops.
Turkey, who started the tournament in excellent fashion, beating Ukraine 5-0 in their first match, with Suad Ak getting 4 goals on that occasion. Suad Ak, who was the real star of the show, and he's a real speedster, Patrick. When he gets going, Suad Ak, it's very, very difficult to stop him. Memo Sousa, a rock at the back. Couple of wayward shots at the start for Turkey, but once they settled into their groove, here's Ak there with a really composed finish, hitting that top corner and then showing off that speed and the drive. He hit the ball in that bottom left corner 3 times, Suad Ak, as he also dispatched the shootout in real star fashion, and he is going to be one that they're going to have to watch out for.
And Türkiye then, surprisingly, got the better of Spain, and that is why Spain then had to bow out of the competition. Spain having already played against Italy, but 3-2 was the victory for the Turks against Spain, rather surprisingly, despite Spain being such a prominent nation in the Kings League. Lest we forget, it's actually where the game was first devised. So Türkiye already laid down a marker with that particular win over Spain. They showed that they were not to be underestimated, and that 3-2 win again built on their defensive solidity. We're seeing some of the exploits there of Oktay Kazan, the goalkeeper.
Excellent goalkeeping performance, it has to be said, by Oktay Kazan. Türkiye, who will be looking to carry that form into possibly the most potent team we've seen here, the Kings World Cup Nations, in the form of Brazil. But a reminder as well that when you go to the Allianz Stadium for the final of the Kings World Cup Nations, you won't only be watching the final, there will also be an incredible Legends and Streamers match before. Take a look.
Allianz Stadium, then you can still get your tickets at kingsleague.pro for the final of 2025, and a capacity of more than 40,000 at Allianz Stadium will be there to witness not only the final of this competition, the first ever edition, lest we forget, of the Kings World Cup Nations, but also that Legends against Streamers match. Former goalkeepers Iker Casillas, Gigi Buffon, a Juventus legend, another Bianconeri great in the shape of Andrea Pirlo, and indeed Sergio Kun Agüero, who we'll see in action tonight. But that's not all, Simon. We will also have a very special musical accompaniment.
Yeah, the entertainment will be provided by Mahmoud. Over 3.2 million monthly listeners on Spotify. How good is that going to be? Take a look. It'll be Mahmoud.
Facciamo la tabacca mitraglia. Fuori fa 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 solo ta. Vedo bimbi col balaclava senza mamma.
Sanremo victories, which allowed him to represent Italy at the Eurovision Song Contest 2019. Mahmoud finished in 2nd place and then 6th place in 2022 as a host entrant, but now back here to the Kings Arena in Milan, Patrick, for this huge game between Brazil and Türkiye.
Indeed, and Gaules, the Brazil president, one of the Brazil presidents, making his way over now, because as ever we are going to have some stirring pre-match messages. That's been a key feature of this first ever edition of the Kings World Cup Nations. We have some Brazilians as well. Os brasileiros are in the crowd tonight, hoping to see a win for the Seleção. But very shortly before the national anthems, we will hear from Gaules, the Brazilian president, and alongside him as well, Kelvin Oliveira, who has been particularly prolific in this competition. But Türkiye not to be underestimated at all. So once again, welcome to Kings Arena. We are already all set now for Brazil against Türkiye, our 3rd quarter-final.
It should be a really fantastic game, this one, Patrick. Brazil been so eye-catching since the start, haven't they?
They have indeed, and that's why they're going to take some stopping. 16 goals en route, as we said. 9 against Germany, 7 against Korea Republic, and that's what they are building towards. That's where we will be on a Sunday. Allianz Stadium for the big game. And it is going to be Brazil against Türkiye in the first of 2 quarter-finals.
Brazil. Everyone admires them, everyone fears them. They dance, sing, and have fun. If you ask me, I'd say the Kings was invented in Brazil. Turkey and Kings. A story of love from the very beginning. The talent and fighting spirit they showed in the last World Cup carried the Ottoman team to the final stages. This time, don't be surprised if Turkey takes the crown.
Here we go then. It is the first of two quarterfinals on this second day of the last 8 of the competition. Brazil against Türkiye.
Seleção brasileira, estamos aqui mais um dia e mais um dia sentindo muito orgulho de poder fazer, de poder representar uma nação, a nação que a gente tanto defende, que a gente tanto se orgulhou, que é jogando futebol, e a gente ter o prazer e essa oportunidade de representar um país inteiro, uma nação gigantesca, do que a galera mais ama, que todo mundo, quando nasce, tem esse sonho de ser jogador, de representar o seu país, a sua seleção nacional. É algo inacreditável. Eu quero dizer que eu estou muito orgulhoso de todos vocês. Ninguém está mais preparado que a gente, ninguém trabalhou mais, ninguém fez mais, ninguém quer mais do que a gente. E hoje, mais uma vez, dentro de campo, e só dentro de campo, nós vamos demonstrar por que a gente veio aqui, beleza? Vamos, seleção!
Vocês sabem o quanto eu amo vocês, o quanto eu amo tudo isso daqui que a gente está vivendo, poder estar junto cada momento e completando o que o Kelvin falou, velho. Ninguém se sente melhor num campo de futebol do que um brasileiro, e a gente é brasileiro. A gente não vai deixar esses caras ganhar hoje, a gente vai deixar esses caras ganhar amanhã, a gente não vai deixar esses caras ganhar nunca, porque isso daqui vale tudo pra gente. A partir de hoje, não dá pra perder, nunca deu pra perder, porque a gente é brasileiro. Então eu conto com cada um de vocês. É o que eu falei, se alguém cair, você levanta esse cara. Se a bola estiver na lateral, você chuta e comemora, porque é gol. Eu preciso de cada um de vocês, sem falha, hoje, amanhã e na grande final. A gente não vai errar e ninguém está mais preparado dentro de um campo de futebol do que vocês, porque vocês nasceram no país do futebol. Então vambora, é hoje, é hoje!
We will recap that message very shortly. Now it's time for the Turks.
Büyük zaferler böyle büyük günlerde kazanılır. Asil Türk milleti için savaşacağız. Allah yardımcımız olsun.
two national anthems have been completed then. It is going to be Brazil against Türkiye, the first of two quarterfinals today on another day of Kings World Cup Nations action. And Türkiye, the overwhelming favourites with our Twitch viewers that have been voting pre-match. But before we get started, Simon, and recap those messages pre-match, let's just recap of some of the salient rules that are unique to Kings League.
Brazil against Turkey, who will start off 1v1, including the goalkeepers, who are not allowed to go out of their own box. 1v1, excluding goalkeepers. As soon as the second outfield player comes on, the goalkeepers can also join the attack. We've seen some pretty special different things as Gerard Piqué, the Kings League president, is in attendance. Here is the Spotify secret cards that are being drawn. We see that Brazil have drawn 50% of their cards have been jokers. The others have been star players, which are actually two very, very good ones. Turkey, a little bit more mismatch, penalty, shootout, and two-time goals.
Turkey have also played a match more than Brazil, lest we forget. That's why they have had 3 cards to Brazil's 2, so the Brazilians might be a little bit fresher, but as Simon said, we will have a new player entering the fray for every 60 seconds that elapses between the start of the match and the 5-minute mark, and after the 18th minute mark we will have the roll of the Red Bull branded dice, as and when we will see how many players will be on the pitch for the final 2 minutes of the first half. But just to recap those messages there, nice first message from Kelvin Oliveira, the Brazil captain, who spoke about his pride at representing his country, what a pleasure it is to represent Brazil at football, and how every Brazilian who's born dreams one day of representing the Seleção. They have that opportunity. Said no one has prepared more or worked harder than the Brazilians. We'll see whether that is indeed the case. We're up and running here, the ball drops down, and it is going to be Brazil against Türkiye.
Ball has to go backwards from this ball drop, and we've seen that Türkiye, I should say, who have done so throughout, trusting the speed of Suad Ak, but it's Oliveira first.
It is indeed. Kelvin Oliveira's got away here, and he punishes Turkey. Turkey claiming there was a foul, but Suad Ak, his complaints fall on deaf ears there, and Kelvin delivers once again for Brazil.
These initial minutes are so important, and once Kelvin was through, there was absolutely no doubt that he was going to bury it. And Turkey here at the moment struggling because Suad Ak has lost the ball again, which means that Oliveira is going to be able to go forwards once more.
He is, and he's so tricky as well, Kelvin Oliveira. Just so comfortable with the ball at his feet, as he's showcasing once again here. He's again worked the shooting angle. Kelvin Oliveira around the keeper, and he deposits it very intelligently into the corner. Suad ran past it, and as Brazil get another pair of hands on the pitch, Kelvin Oliveira with a quick-fire brace to give them the perfect start.
2 chances, 2 goals for the Brazilian number 9. Turkey will be glad to have 2 outfield players on the pitch now. Memo Sosa the second for the Turks.
And Turkey ideally need to score with this possession, but Kelvin goes for the hat-trick, and he misses only narrowly. The goalkeeper was out to try and give Turkey an overload, and they nearly conceded once they ceded possession.
Yeah, Oktay Kazan, who is going to be a crucial role here. We've seen him score before.
That's good goalkeeping there. Türkiye finally getting a shot away. Memo Sosa denied. They will have a corner as we prepare to see another outfield player come on. But again, the goalkeeper is forward. He's got an open shot here. Brazil almost defying him, challenging him to shoot from distance. He decided against it, conscious perhaps that he might be caught out if they lost the ball. Here's Sosa again, and that's easy for Brazil.
Yeah, Memo Sosa, who is never really shy in terms of taking on the strikes. I think there was an opening for Oktay Kazan to have a go. That's how he scored against Spain, the first goal against Spain in that game. So little surprised that he didn't take it on the Turkish goalkeeper.
Andres Vaz is now on as well for Brazil. Kelvin nearly lost the ball. In fact, he has given away possession. An opportunity perhaps for Türkiye. Memo Sousa again looking for a shooting angle. He's lost the ball, and Brazil charge forward now. They've got a 2v1. Kelvin would have the hat-trick had he been found. Instead, a simple finish for Andreas Vaz. You can make that 3-0, 3-0.
This Brazilian side are so good. What we're seeing now is exactly why they were considered one of the pre-tournament favourites, and now why they are the overwhelming favourites. This is a Turkish team that hasn't conceded many, and they're 3 down already after just 3 minutes of play.
The big smiles between the 3 Brazilian presidents there. Gaules, who we heard from pre-match, Chris Gates, who will take the presidential penalty today, and Ustijario as well, the intern. In fact, I think they're all taking one each. Ustijario has already thrown the Red Bull dice. He's going to take the presidential penalty as Brazil pounce on the loose ball, courtesy of their goalkeeper. And Gaules, before the match, Simon, had a very stirring message indeed. He spoke about how the fact that they won't be going home today, they won't be going home tomorrow, referring to the semi-finals. He's backing them to win this competition as a whole, and he said when someone falls down, you pick them up. When the ball goes out of play, you charge after it to keep it back in. And he also said as well, when he spoke to us off there before tonight's action, that whilst Kings League is new, what we are seeing is games such as futsal, which Brazilians grow up with, they have it in their blood, very conducive to playing this game effectively.
Really interesting character, Gaules, the Brazilian president. I think that's something he said as well during that speech, very rousing speech. You know, Brazil is a footballing nation. You're born with that kind of thing, just to echo what you've just said, Patrick. And that's exactly what we've seen here. Brazil just dominating the game and a little bit more comfortable with the rules.
And they nearly scored a 4th there. Davi apologising to Kelvin, but the captain saying, no, you were well within your rights to go for goal there. We're 3-0 up. He did all of the creating of the chance himself down this near side. And what a start it's been for Brazil. But we shouldn't overlook the fact that throughout this week here at Kings Arena in Milan, we have seen some dramatic comebacks. We saw Uzbekistan 3-0 up against Peru, then they went 4-3 behind, and Uzbekistan needed a very late goal with the last kick of the game to win 5-4. So there can be these dramatic drop-offs and swings in the scoreline. Türkiye hoping that comes to pass here. All he had to do was apply the finish. He was offside in any case.
Yeah, it's something that we saw yesterday as well, with Morocco completely outplayed by the United States of America for large parts of their quarterfinal. Before, Morocco were helped particularly by that late goal by Nadir Lua. But Türkiye have got to keep their heads here. That's going to be one of the big issues. They've got to get themselves going. I wouldn't be surprised to see an early president penalty or shootout in this case.
Onur Saglan there with the foul, and just a warning from the referee, you don't want to have a player booked, because that means a 2-minute sin bin. But Brazil, for once, have been careless in keeping the ball. Memo Sousa with the good vision. Outside shooting chance here. Instead, he tried to take it past his opponent, but Wembley was there to snuff out the danger.
Türkiye just waiting to get themselves going a little bit. Memo Sousa, who I actually spoke to after the game against Spain, said that Türkiye had done really well in that game to stay true to their own values, which were togetherness, strength in defence, being aggressive on the ball. We're not seeing very much of that at the moment, and you just feel that they might need to settle a little bit, but the problem is they're 3 down.
Goalkeeper didn't call for that, and that's why it's smashed up off the roof in the end. So Brazil needlessly conceding the ball deep in their own territory. Türkiye mischievously trying to take a free kick on the edge of the box. We do restart with a throw, which is a long one, and then cleverly shielded out of play by Lipao Pinheiro. So Brazil very comfortable here after those quick-fire 3 goals to begin. Kelvin with the first 2, and then he was there making that run just to give an extra option to Andreas Vaz, who then exploited his teammate's run to slot it into the corner past Oktay Kazan, who had been the goalkeeper, had made the most saves. I don't recall him making a single stop so far in this quarter-final.
No, but you have to say he's not been helped either, Patrick, because when you see the first goal, Suadat goes to ground looking for a foul. You can't do that in Kings League, particularly as we've seen the referees are quite happy to let the 50-50s go. And Marsosa does well there.
But psychologically, Simon, I think that challenge came inside the first minute, didn't there? There was that hope of maybe a player being sin-binned and then them having literally a 2v1 situation with just two players against the goalkeeper. A goalkeeper and an outfield player had it indeed been seen as a foul in the opening 60 seconds, but it wasn't. He went down too easily, and that's what allowed Kelvin to score. Here's
100%.
Memos Sozer again.
And then the second one, PK, is actually one where Suadak has the ball. He needs to take kickoff. He's got a limited time to do so. The time runs out because he's arguing with the referee, and before you know it, Kelvin has already scored the second. So these are little things that Türkiye need to cross out, but now it's 6v6 outfield players, so you got to play against the Brazilian might all together.
Indeed, and as you said, that fine margins, but they do compound into something more significant. But Brazil gave the ball away. Was that a foul? It was. It's just going to be a free kick, despite the pleas of the Turkish player, led by Onur Saglam, asking whether that did indeed constitute a yellow card. But Brazil, just occasionally being a bit careless in possession. The last thing they want to do here is give Türkiye a route back into the match. As you said, could be that momentum shift as and when they take the shootout, which will replace, I believe, the presidential penalty.
If he does bring him down, he clips his heels like that. It's a 3v1 going forwards for Türkiye.
It is going to be Chechim. Well saved by the goalkeeper, had a good line of sight, watched it all away, but still needed to produce the save and, crucially, push it out of play.
Yeah, but that might just get Türkiye going. You know, you never know. Not the kind of team that are going to give up, Türkiye, that's for certain.
Brazil do benefit as well from the fact that a lot of them have known each other a long time. That's what Gaules told us pre-match. Barata, in particular, the goalkeeper, is someone that Gaules has worked with before. And here go the Brazilians. He's going to need to wait for reinforcements to arrive. He's kept it in play well there, but in the end just ran out of room, did Choco, alias João Victor.
You know, the funny thing is, when we watch Kings League football, we're only 9 minutes in, 10 minutes really, but when we reach the 18th minute mark, Patrick, you already think, what's the best thing for Türkiye? Do they want a 1v1 or 2v2 where there are more goal-scoring chances, but it's always difficult against Brazil, or do you prefer just chancing your luck 6v6? And a reminder as well that in case you need a motivational playlist or you want some new tunes to get yourselves going in 2025, then please go check out the Kings World Cup Nations playlist made by your favorite players and streamers, everyone pitching in for that one. That's on Spotify, one of our partners, and we thank them.
Yeah, you're right, Simon. Ordinarily, I would say you want as few players on the pitch as possible so as to have those shooting chances. But when you're up against the technical Brazilians, and they gave the ball away again here, we saw it earlier on, Kelvin was not only better 1v1 going forward, he also had the presence of mind defensively to get the better of Suadak. So I would say against any other team, you'd almost want 1v1, no goalkeepers. Against Brazil, maybe a 2v2 or a 3v3 all told.
That was sloppy, I think, from Brazil's point of view, because they need to bury the game here, the Brazilians.
They can indeed put the game to a bed, but not anytime soon because of all those unique rules about Kings League. No particular advantage is big enough, you would think, because goals can all of a sudden count for double with the secret card with those final 2 minutes. But of course, trailing 3-0, Türkiye are a long way behind here. They need a period where they can have the game settle. They arguably need to score a goal as well, just to give something to the Brazilians to think about. But Brazil again pursuing another goal here with Leleti, who forgot the ball in the end, much to the relief of the Turks.
Another big factor, which we probably haven't discussed, is that these Brazilian players know each other so well. A lot of them play for G3X FC, which is actually Gaules' team in the clubs, Kings World Cup clubs. And there's also a couple of players who play for Furia as well, whereas the Turkish side play for Limon. That's one of the big ones. But there isn't that same team cohesion, and I think you can see it in the early exchanges.
And indeed, those players, along with Gaules, because of their club exploits, as Brazil go forward again, they are additionally motivated here. They're driven by revenge. They were beaten in the final of the first ever edition of the Kings Club World Cup, as Kelvin dashes into the box. Now for the Kings World Cup Nations, having lost to Porcinos in that final, they now want to win as a nation, the nation of football, as you correctly pointed out earlier, Brazil.
It's been one of my big questions as well to the streamers throughout, the week and a half that we've been here is, does it mean that much more because you're wearing your national jersey? And actually, Gaules, that's something he said to us. Yes, of course, it's so great to win the clubs, and I think that's been a massive part so far of the success here, is that you're representing your country, so you are going to give maybe that 1 or 2% more, but that often makes the difference as well.
Yeah, and behind that goal, which is being defended by Barata, I can see not only a Brazilian flag, but also the standard of Santos, which was the team of Pelé. And here go Türkiye dashing forward. But it has been exactly the way Brazil would have envisaged it, how they would have visualized this game panning out. 3 early goals without reply. They haven't looked like conceding. Türkiye have barely laid a glove on them, and something needs to change dramatically for this match to shift.
Yeah, we're in the 14th minute here, Patrick. Demos Sosa asking Türkiye to play the ball around, but they've given it away.
Leleti looking for Kelvin. He assumed he had a teammate behind him because the cross was a little bit too high for him. Thumbs up nonetheless for the idea, as Gaules, Crisquets and Ustejario, the intern, all watch on. Presidential trio, the Brazilian triumvirate there. But we already saw 2 teams progressing yesterday. Colombia easily. We had a very one-sided quarter-final to start. Colombia getting the better of Uzbekistan by 6-1, and then a very tight game between the United States and Morocco. Who knows whether we might see something similar? There is some symmetry in terms of our first quarter-final today so far has been pretty one-sided. It's whether Türkiye can bridge the gulf. They're under pressure again defensively. But that second quarter-final today, Simon, looks a lot harder to call. Here goes Suadak, though.
Yeah, Suadak, who didn't have enough teammates around him to try and make the difference. But PK, what an amazing statistic this is. Oktay Kazan, in his first 3 matches, has conceded 5 goals. And in the space of just 4 first minutes here, he's already conceded 3.
And he's about to concede a 4th. Leleti, it is slotted home. Wellington gets the goal, and Brazil now add a 4th. They were queuing up there, and Wellington takes the applause here, hearing the adulation from the Brazilian presidents. Gaules beating his chest on that Brazilian crest as well, and they won't be letting up here. They're keeping their foot on the accelerator. Wellington with a cool finish.
No, but this is exactly what I was expecting. Actually, after the 3rd goal went in, Türkiye calling for the president penalty, which will be a shootout, not a penalty, because they need to get themselves on the scoreboard. They need to try and make something happen. So we haven't seen this often at all, that the president penalty is used in the first half of play, but Türkiye have to get themselves going, PK.
They do indeed, and as you said, it's not going to be a presidential penalty, it's going to be a shootout, which means it is delegated to a player on the pitch. And therefore, it means one of these Turkey outfield players, Suadak, who's taken the ball, is going to have to dribble from the centre circle towards the opposition goal. He has 5 seconds to score, and he needs to try and get the better of Barata.
Suadak, who netted against Ukraine in match 1 from the shootout. And just a word quickly, because Brazil have immediately responded to the president penalty with a president penalty of their own. So this is big pressure being put on by the Brazilians, who could actually be 5 up if Ak misses this and they score.
Here goes Suadak then. Easy for Barata. That was pretty shocking in the end. The shootout not going according to plan, and already trailing 4-0. Türkiye have now missed their shootout. Sloppy from Swad, and Brazil have a big chance.
Big chance for Brazil. Ak just loses his footing at the crucial moment. And now a massive opportunity for the Brazilians in the next break of play for the president penalty to be taken and scored.
Indeed, the player who's warming up has on the back of his shirt, it reads like Stag, but I can tell you it's got nothing to do with a male deer. It is Stagi, which is short for Ustejario, the intern, the trainee. He's one of the 3 presidentials presences there. One is Gaules, who we've become very familiar with. Crisquets who took one the other day, and now it's the turn of Ustijario, who threw the Red Bull dice during another fixture yesterday, and now he's going to have the chance. Kelvin with a few words of advice and some encouragement too from the skipper, because if this goes in, I think we can already start to plan possibly for Brazil being in that second semi-final, provided Ustijario scores. He needs to get the better of one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best, in the tournament, in the shape of Oktay Kazan. Big pressure then.
I don't think any of the Brazilian presidents have actually missed so far.
It is going to be Ustijario into the top corner, and that is why they are una sal do futebol, because Brazil are the home of football, and they are feeling at home here in Milan. They now lead by 5-0.
People, request you play, okay?
Oktay Kazan just having a word with the referee because he felt that the Brazilians were delaying the restart of the game a little bit too much. Really beautiful penalty. We can just see the replay of it there. Gaules and the Brazilian presidents and streamers absolutely loving life at the moment. And I think it's safe to say that we will probably be speaking to Gaules after the game, PK.
You would hope so, and he's very fluent in English as well, so we look forward to getting his insights not only on what is coming to pass here against Türkiye, but also their prospects. That was an ambitious attempt, meantime, from Wellington. Their prospects against the winners of Mexico and Argentina later on. By the time we speak to him, Simon, we'll also know who Brazil, if they were to beat Türkiye, and it's not all completely sewn up yet, we'll get his thoughts on what to make of their semi-final opponents. But first, they need to complete the job against Türkiye. It would take a dramatic turnaround for this game to be, indeed, flipped on its head.
More than anything, I just don't think Türkiye have showed us anything. They've been sloppy on the ball. They've not really created too much chances. I mean, look at that again. So risky. I guess you have to take risks, but anything that could go wrong for Türkiye so far has been going wrong.
Andreas Vaz teeing up, another teammate. Good save, though. They needed to keep it out. Davy unable to score, but otherwise that was 6-0. And Türkiye at least taking some encouragement from that. Their streamers and Preston watching on back home.
Eraen is the president, unable to travel to the tournament, and it's a drone that's down. The drone has been brought down.
Well, that was amazing. As crossfield ball from Davici. It was Kelvin calling for the ball. It was the perfect weight on it. And we did speculate about that earlier this week as to whether the drone would be taken out. I watch a lot of YouTube golf. It's often fraught with danger there, albeit that's a much higher trajectory. And the drone was flying too low, sort of the opposite of Icarus. You fly too close to the sun and your wings get burnt. Well, this was the drone. How good is that?
The Brazilians are too quick, even for technology. That says how good they are.
Kelvin! That would have been special. Controlling it on his chest, and then an improvised finish. He very nearly steered it past Oktay Kazan. That would have been almost too much to take for Türkiye. We're now just 30 seconds away from the rolling of the Red Bull dice.
Oktay Kazan. Look at this from Brazil, who continue the high press. They've won it back.
Here's Kelvin, another save, 2 in a row from Oktay Kazan, and but for him, Brazil could already be out of sight. As it is, they have 1 foot in the semi-final, but the Türkiye keeper showing why he was one of the players we picked out as the stars pre-match.
Clock being ticked down, and now we will have the roll of the energized Red Bull dice, which is going to be done by a very special guest. Spanish presidents Spurzito y Adri Contreras are going to roll this one for us, and Nadia Lua is there on the left, and the roll isn't the best, but it is going to be a 2v2.
So that's just like, correct me if I'm wrong, Simon, the opening 60 seconds of this match when we have 2 players all told, an outfield player plus a goalkeeper.
I believe that is correct. And
This is where I need Thomas Lawrence, isn't it, to be absolutely on point with the rules. As you can tell, Simon and I are new to Kings League. We have studied the rules, but bear with us if we get it wrong. I'm delighted to say that there are 2 Brazilians out there. There's no keeper. They're taking a chance, Brazil, given that they've got the lead, whereas Türkiye have sent out that man Swad again and a proper keeper.
And this is what we were speculating about a little bit earlier on, because if Türkiye need a way back in the game, it's now. They need to get as many goals as possible whilst keeping Brazil very quiet in the next 2 minutes. Swedak is very quick, and it's Leletti, I think, who's trying to get it with him.
It was Leletti. The ball's gone out of play now. Brazil make a change. They want to get Barata on, the goalkeeper. Türkiye now making a change of their own. I think that's a shame, really, because I would have preferred to have seen Oktay Kazan try and shoot with the goal unguarded, but instead they now go to 2 outfield players. This is Memo Sozer with Swadak away to his left. Swadak with all the time in the world. He's hit the post. It just won't go in for Türkiye. Swadak can try again, or he can use Memo Sozer. He finds the captain, the skipper, takes his time, and does finally convert. Türkiye on the board. How they needed that goal. Memo Sozer with the strike.
That's big from Türkiye, but the biggest element is now, because Oktay Kazan has got to keep the follow-up from Brazil out. Brazil, who are going to have to move the ball a little bit quicker than that, or they might lose possession to Türkiye. There was a check ongoing. The referee said it's okay, and it's Kelvin on the ball, and more often than not, you know what that means.
Kelvin indeed using his colleague away to his left to try and outfox the defender. Needs to stay on side as well, Kelvin. And had he latched onto that, he would have scored, but it was just slightly overhit. Disappointment, really, because Lipao's cross was a touch heavy.
This is big, very big for Türkiye, Patrick. If they can get another one here, if they can come out of this 2-minute period having reduced the deficit to just 3, with the secret card to come in the second half, who knows what may happen? But it's a big, big if.
It is a big if, but it's what you were talking about, Simon. Here's Swadak with the time to measure a finish. Again, he was caught in 2 minds. We've seen that before. No foul by Kelvin. The goal is unguarded. Calamity for Türkiye. It's yet another goal for Kelvin. That's going to be his hat-trick. And Brazil are running away with this one.
I think Swadak needs to change his boots. He's slipping all over the place. Here's Memo Sozer. I think there's a VAR check to see if there was a foul in the build-up. It was difficult for us to tell from there. Is he clipped?
Nothing wrong with that in my mind. And indeed, we play on. Memo Sozer, they need to score here, Türkiye. Again, they've gone with the 2 outfield players, but that is fraught with danger, as we've just seen. Swadak does convert. And it is 2-1 in this period.
It's offside.
It won't count, the flag is up. How disappointing for Türkiye. We're into added time here. 30 seconds, and Brazil can now take their time over this. Kelvin is going to wait again for another colleague, Andreas Vaz wearing 10, and if Brazil score here, they could go in at half-time leading by 7 goals to 1, which is remarkable. Kelvin then, does he go for goal himself? Does he try and tee up Andreas? Here is Andreas. Tempted by the shot, Kelvin has time and space, and he never misses from there. 4 goals for Kelvin Oliveira. It's 7-1. Tá frio, tá muito frio, pá. 7-1 Brazil at the break.
It is full throttle, an unbelievable understanding of the rules. Turkey are stunned into silence. Look at the atmosphere there on the Turkish bench. They don't know what to do anymore. And from 5-1, it's ended up being 7-1, and you're tempted to say all but over.
And let's talk about Brazil's attacking potential first. We'll hear from their coach.
Eles estão querendo muito o jogo e vai sair contra-ataque pra gente. Vamos jogar nesse 3-2-1, a gente vai voltar com o mesmo time que a gente sempre começa. O Wembley,
Lipão, Lelete, os que estão descansados, Jefinho,
Rufino e Choco. Vamos lá, vamos lá. Não perde, não perde. Vamos, ei, vem aqui, ó.
20 minutinhos.
Onur, sol tarafta Berk, sağ, ortada Hasan, Memoş, Aytürk und Furkan. Tamam? Nicht erstmal noch reinkommen?
We've heard then from the two camps, Brazil in complete control here thanks to 4 first-half goals from Kelvin Oliveira as part of 7 all told, including their presidential penalty, which was scored. We saw the Türkiye missing their presidential penalty in the form of a shootout. The second half is about to get underway, and it would take an almighty collapse now from Brazil, Simon Harding, for anyone other than Brazil to make it through to that semi-final.
It would be the upsets to end all upsets here if Türkiye were able to turn this around. I don't think they have the mental fortitude to do it, Türkiye. They just look completely lost, and simple things are not happening for them.
Here goes Lipão. And again, Shoku leading the line, but we need to talk about Brazil's attacking potential. I was about to comment on it until we then heard from their head coach a little bit earlier on, which is Victor Taubi. But they scored 16 goals prior to this game. They'd scored in their first 2 matches 7 and 9. They've got another 7 here. That's now 23 goals across 3 matches. Well, 2.5, in fact. We're only just beginning the second period.
Yeah, and you know, you wouldn't put it past them to reach double figures in this game as well. Brazil, they've been so good. And to be honest, I'd say, Patrick, they haven't really stretched their talent. They've just navigated the game so much better.
I completely agree, and it just shows, doesn't it, the talent that is on display as well. That's a good try, Barata making the save down at his near post, but Kelvin Oliveira has been, for me, the best player in this tournament. 4 goals in this first half. He just seems to have a swagger around the pitch, the way he carries himself. Barata has hurt himself there in plunging to his right and making the save. Secret card on the way, incidentally.
Yeah, secret card, which is being played by Türkiye. Let's see what it's going to be. I think the only thing that can help them at the moment is to have a player suspension and play the 4 minutes in with an extra play. Even a penalty or shootout doesn't really help them. But Kelvin Oliveira, just to come back to that, is said, Patrick, to be the overwhelming favourite for the next Corona de Oro, which is the equivalent of the Ballon d'Or in Kings League, and you can tell why.
Yeah, a fabulous talent, and the leader of this side as well. It's not just that he scores the most goals, it's also that he's involved in everything Brazil do. He's a good motivator. We heard his speech pre-match, and he can also turn provider when required too. Memo Sousa poking it through, cut out easily by Wembley, who we still need to ask as to why he's chosen that particular nickname. We do know of the weird and wonderful nicknames that exist in Brazilian culture, particularly prevalent in football culture as well. But Türkiye look a little bit lost out there. Someone needs to step up and inspire them. And if you do get that player suspension, Simon, who are you taking off? Surely it's got to be Kelvin.
Has to be Kelvin. Although, if you want to be ultra ambitious, you take off one of their 2 centre-backs in the hope that you destabilise them defensively. Let's have a look. What's the Spotify secret card going
Joker.
to be? Joker. Now, do you steal Brazil's to take their secret card away from them? That would be also a play.
Oh, I've not seen that done before. That would be great.
You are allowed with the Joker card to steal
penalty has
the
been
Brazilian
selected.
card and the penalty. I'm surprised by that, because even if you score, you go to 7-2, you're still 5 behind, and the way that Türkiye have been playing, they don't really look like scoring at any given time.
It is going to be Telly who's going to, no, Cecim, who's stood over this, wearing 11, up against Barata, needs to score. Must find the net here. It is Cecim, it's into the roof of the net. A proper penalty that, 7-2.
Talk about a confident penalty there, Patrick. Thought the net was going to come off with that one. Big save, but still the point is valid in my opinion. You're still 5 goals down. I think with a player suspension, you were in with a chance of possibly scoring more against a team that had a man down.
So Brazil have conceded for the second time. Nicely converted penalty there from Cecim to make it 7-2, but the cushion is still 5. And were it still be to this extent the lead come the final 2 minutes of the match, it would require an improbable 3-0 period in the final 2 minutes of play, plus added time when goals are worth double for Türkiye to improbably win this match. That would see them go from 7-2 down to 8-7 winners, but on this evidence, you just can't see it coming to pass. You feel they need to eat in further to this deficit.
They need to eat into it a lot more, and they need to throw caution to the wind.
But we've had so many celebrities drop by over the course of this week, the first ever edition of the Kings World Cup Nations. We saw James Rodriguez yesterday, Wes McKennie was here as well. We've got Gerard Piqué, the man who came up with the entire idea as a whole. He's here today as Brazil look to score again. Now, Türkiye on the counter. Nicely worked here, but then having cut back inside and created the space, he curiously went back on the outside and gave Brazil a second chance to defend.
Yeah, surprising move there. I think the cross was on initially. These are the sort of things Türkiye have got to navigate better.
That was ambitious, but worth a go there from Cecim. He's just scored a penalty. It sat up invitingly on the volley, and at this stage, any shot will do for Türkiye. 5 goals behind.
Here's Lipao. Türkiye, Patrick still, they're pressing a little bit higher. That's reckless, though. You could easily be given a yellow card for that.
Here's a chance for Kelvin, and it's put home. Another simple finish for the Brazilians, working the 2v1. Leleti with the goal.
The goal and a celebration to match as well. A couple of somersaults there. It's samba time from the Brazilians. They are absolutely loving life. Türkiye are down and out.
Yeah, it's just becoming more and more embarrassing, almost humiliating now for Türkiye. 8-2 behind. And once again, there was the opportunity to score himself, but Kelvin showing he's equally adept at assisting as well as scoring. And having scored 4, he's now teed up his colleague Leleti, who loved it, and showing his faith there as well, which is particularly prominent.
It's exactly what you were saying, though. Kelvin is such a team player, though, PK. You saw it there. And the difference was, Türkiye had a similar chance moments ago. The pass wasn't given, or wasn't given good enough. Brazil do, Brazil score. And if you are fancying a little bit of a trip to Southeast Asia, then look no further than Air Asia Move. It's your favorite travel companion across the region. Couple of trips, lovely opportunity, so many places to see. If I could pick, then I would probably go to Vietnam or Laos. So rich on history, and as you know, PK, I am a little bit of a history geek.
Yeah, I'm quite keen on Japan. That would be my next destination. It's just whether I can afford to go, but maybe with Air Asia, we can sort something out for me, a special discounted ticket. Who knows? Secret card on the way. We've seen Türkiye, they played theirs. They had a penalty, having initially drawn the joker. They scored the penalty, and now Brazil, presumably, if you're Brazil and you get a joker, you would probably choose a penalty yourselves as well and just try and inch further clear of Türkiye, but we don't know what card is about to be produced. We'll find out very shortly as and when the ball goes out of play, which could be now. Instead, they've kept it in. Kelvin Oliveira again charging forward. He was pulled back, no foul, says the official. And maybe Türkiye again, Swadak just taking too many touches, too much time. Kelvin has it again. Once more he felt he was fouled. The challenges are flying in now. It does go out of play, and here comes the secret card.
Yeah, let's have a look at what Brazil are going to draw, and a reminder that Türkiye had that joker, so whatever Brazil have now, Türkiye could have stolen, and the worst thing for them would be a player suspension, because this would become a massive score. It is the penalty, so penalty chosen by Brazil, and an opportunity perhaps for Kelvin to get his 5th, I think it would be.
Indeed, he's nodding along there, Kelvin, because just had a word with his colleagues. A glance sufficed, and it does look like he is going to be the man charged with trying to further increase this already healthy lead for the Seleção. And Kelvin also has his own personal objective, which is namely to finish as the top scorer in this competition. He's got some pretty tasty challenges, the likes of Obe Martinez and of course Nadir, who is in the house tonight as well. But I fully expect
Nadir
Kelvin to convert.
PK, so I think Kelvin would move ahead now.
Big puff of the cheeks from the Brazil number 9, Kelvin Oliveira. Into the corner it goes. He waited to see if the goalkeeper would commit himself. He didn't commit himself. Da frio pa, da gelato. Ice cool again from the skipper.
A celebration that's been made famous in the United Kingdom by Cole Palmer of Chelsea, who does that every time he scores. Kelvin Oliveira embodies that ice-cool composure to absolute perfection.
4 goals in the first half for Kelvin. That's his first of the second. Brazil having won 9-2 against Germany, now lead 9-2 against Türkiye. They beat Korea 7-4 in their opening match. That's already looking like a very good result for any opponents for Brazil. We should be giving perhaps Korea more credit for the way they kept the Brazilians quiet, but they seem to have found a new gear. Andreas Vaz with the creativity. But in the end, Brazil couldn't make that attack work out. But again, the determination to charge back and win the ball, fabulous again from Maicon.
Powerful running once more. Speed now.
This is Davigi. Good challenge, an important sliding challenge there to keep Rufino quiet. And they're celebrating now every challenge. That's what it's all about. We know about the flair and the poise and the tricks that the Brazilians possess, but it's also about that determination too to go and win the ball.
We're talking about that 9-2 scoreline against Germany. I think that's the biggest scoreline we've had at the tournament, if I'm not very much mistaken. So any extra goal without response from Brazil would mean this would be the biggest scoreline so far.
It would, albeit as a caveat to that, 2 of those goals counted for 4 in the latter stages of the game. So yes, they technically only scored, I think, 7 that counted for 9. Here they've now actually scored 9 in their own right, and if they were to score in those final 2 minutes of play, then goals will definitely be worth double. But here's another chance. They're making this look so simple. The goalkeeper, the stand-in keeper, Semir Chakmachi, has got egg on his face, and he's presented Rufino with a very easy goal. Double figures for the first time in the Kings World Cup Nations.
This is going to be a very, very, very long 8 minutes 30 for Türkiye, who, yes, were the underdogs, but we never expected them to be swept aside the way they are being swept aside. This is total football from Brazil.
It is, and they just saluted the 3 presidents there, the team of Gaules, Chris Geddes and Ustajario. But they are getting acclaim from all 4 sides of this Kings Arena on the south side of Milan. A reminder of what it's all about, the first ever edition of the Kings World Cup Nations. This is our 3rd quarter-final. The 2 semi-finals will be played tomorrow here in Milan, and then the grand final plus the Legends against Streamers game will both be played on a Sunday at Allianz Stadium, the home of Juventus Football Club. More than 40,000 fans will be in attendance for that. A performance from Mahmoud, who is a famous Italian artist as well, internationally recognised. And it's Brazil who are going to be 1 step away from that grand final on this evidence, but they'll need to get the better of the winners later on of Mexico and Argentina. Our first semi-final has already been set. We saw it yesterday, Colombia beating Uzbekistan, Morocco getting the better of United States. And that first semi-final in particular, Simon, to me looks very tight. I know you're a big fan of Colombia, but I am a huge supporter of Morocco.
The way the Moroccan fans have been behaving and congregating and putting the atmosphere here, you're tempted to say you'd love to see Morocco in the final for that, but I do think that Colombia have been excellent. And the drone is also back out there on the pitch and noticeably flying a little bit higher than it was when it was brought down.
Thank goodness for that. Presumably it's a replacement drone. I doubt they would have been able to fix the first one that was now kaput. But yes, Alejandro Ortega in particular is one Colombian player who's really caught the eye.
Here's Memo Sosa, the captain, who has looked a little bit frustrated out there.
Ordinarily, you would say here, if you're Türkiye, try and throw caution to the wind, as you said, go gung-ho, try and score goals to get back into the match. And whilst that is true, you don't need to be too close come those final 2 minutes, theoretically, because we've got 2 minutes plus added time where goals are worth double. So if you could have a flurry of goals, say 3 or 4 penalty. So that could be a game changer. Brazil switching off, the assistant on the far side nodding in acknowledgement. It was the referee that gave the decision. And all of a sudden, Chechim, who scored his previous one, following the secret card, is now going to have the chance to convert what looked like a stonewall spot kick, Simon.
Yeah, you can see the right foot here, which goes across, catches the boot of the Türkiye player. And this will make it 10-3. We're talking about Türkiye throwing caution to the wind, but at the same time, they probably don't want the scoreline to be too embarrassing either. I think at this stage, the game has gone. Let's see what happens. But first, this penalty, PK.
And it's no longer Barata between the sticks. They've mixed things up, the Brazilians. Barata was beaten by the previous spot kick. It is going to be Chechim again. Chechim steps up and scores once more. He's at least doing his bit for the Türkiye cause. It's back to 10-3. João Pedro went the right way, but couldn't keep it out.
The way he's taking these penalty kicks, you wonder why he didn't take the shootout early on, which maybe could have changed things for Türkiye, because they, of course, missed their Şuadak missed Türkiye's shootout, and then Brazil scored their president penalty. That was a key moment in the match as Memos Sousa tries to reclaim the ball.
This is Davici off the post, still a chance, smashed over by Wellington. But I think what we're seeing here, Simon, is the fact that Brazil, yes, they have a massive population, 300 million or thereabouts. They also have a huge, deep-rooted footballing culture. And it's pretty much, I know you're a big rugby union man, it's pretty much a similar sort of scenario when it comes to football. There are just so many talents. There's a huge, deep talent pool when it comes to Brazil, and we're seeing that here, that they could almost name a second 7 out here, a third or fourth string side, and still beat most countries or be starters for any other nations.
Absolutely, and the thing is that the difference in the quality of the players is there to see the 1v1, the technical ability, and it's especially in this game, it's able to unlock situations. I think for many years, to echo what you were saying, Rio de Janeiro was the main talent pool in the world, recently overtaken by Paris in terms of producing those top players.
Yeah, France producing more players in the Champions League than anyone else, thanks to their fairly unique youth development system, which I've been party to myself, not as a player, but as an interpreter. I can speak from first-hand experience the great work they're doing, so much so they've outsourced their expertise to Major League Soccer in the US, and we saw some of those American talents yesterday, albeit they bowed out in agonizing circumstances against Morocco. Brazil have conceded the ball here. They've given away possession. The angle is against Chechim, but it doesn't stop him from getting a hat-trick. 3 on the bounce from Chechim, and what a hit that was.
Well, 3 minutes to go. It's 10-4, and you're thinking, had Türkiye been just a little bit more solid, had those key moments gone a little bit better for them, they could potentially have been in with a shout. I still think it's far out of reach now.
But all of a sudden they have a bit of hope. If they could score again, then they would still need to win that final 2-minute period by 3-0, albeit this time it would actually be worth a victory by 11-10. It's hugely improbable, but Brazil have just switched off, and that's a clever dummy. Had there been someone behind him and no one called for it, it was instinctive from Chechim. Simon, you and I have played a lot of 5-a-side football in Milan, 7-a-side football in Milan, and what you can notice is occasionally when you build these big leagues, you just instinctively think, maybe even unconsciously, we've won the game, you switch off. We might be seeing that with Brazil. We are now into the final 2 minutes of play. So for those of you who are new to Kings League, this means that goals are worth double. It's not just 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes plus added time. So occasionally it could be as many as 4. But because Türkiye trailed by 6, they would need to score 3 times without reply to make it 10-all. And then we would have a shootout where players dribble from the centre circle. 5 of those per side, as we saw in the way that United States against Morocco was determined. But it's improbable, it's hugely unlikely, especially if Brazil score once, then we can say it's game over.
100%. And I think that was the first and only shootout that we've actually seen in the competition, the one against USA and Morocco, a fitting end to what was a thrilling match overall. Şuadak will be the player to sprint out here for Turkey. He's the speedster, but Lilletti for Brazil has got pace of his own. Although he stepped off the line there, that's something you can't do. You have to stay behind the line. Let's see here.
Kelvin's going to go after it. He's certainly saying something, Kelvin.
Still the lights, 5 lights to go, and once they switch off, that is when you sprint out. Shootout for Turkey, 100%. Brazil have stepped off. And they've just conceded possession to Türkiye.
Well, an interesting ploy there from Kelvin and his colleagues. Now they're going to get their defensive shape and ask Türkiye to break them down, not once, not twice, but 3 times, just to make it 10 each. The odds are heavily stacked against Türkiye. Brazil are overwhelming favourites to go on and win this quarter-final, but there will still be some tension. We saw it etched on the face of their presidential trio, Kaulis, Crisquets and Ustejario. That's a lovely ball over the top. The first touch was excellent. They want another penalty, Türkiye. They've already had one. That was optimistic. Now Kelvin pulling the strings again. That's a heavy touch, though. He got away with it, Wembley. Brazil don't want to give Türkiye an early goal here. They could get some encouragement.
And just a reminder that you can vote for our player of the match on Twitch, and if you're wondering how to do that, it's very simple. All you need to do is type in the name, and mine would be Kelvin.
And he's already got upwards of 90% of the vote, Kelvin, but hang on, this could be a goal for Memo Sousa. Big save. João Pedro coming up clutch to make the stop. Memo Sousa left one in there. The goalkeeper made a meal of it. Hopefully it's not a yellow card, it is, and that ends any residual hope that Türkiye had of getting back into this match. The skipper's been sin-binned. He'll be out for almost everything that remains here. And personally, I don't think João Pedro necessarily needed to do that. Yes, he was waiting as long as possible to waste a few vital seconds. Did he really get a kick? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, but Memo Sousa should be a little bit more clever there as well, and you made a reference to rugby union before. As we see in rugby, the yellow card is accompanied with a time penalty here at Kings League, which just adds all to the fun. It'll be 2 minutes here for Memo Sousa, who, as you said, Patrick, will be out for the remainder of the match.
Off he goes then, Memo Sousa, which will be hugely deflating for him. He would have liked to have been on for the final whistle. He still might, as we are about to find out how much added time there is to come. 3 minutes, so Memo Sousa will be able to come back on once his 2-minute window has come to an end. A rare stray pass there from Kelvin Oliveira. Here's Cecim, who's the only Türkiye player to emerge with some credit, but he's lost the ball. And now Shoku charging forward, waiting for a teammate to join in. Leleti, who's caught the eye. So too is Lipao. Here's Kelvin Oliveira trying to cut inside and get a shot away. Goalkeeper does well to prevent a corner, but again, Türkiye for this second half have given Semir Çakmakçı an opportunity to play, probably conscious that the game is already beyond doubt. They have won a free kick here after that challenge on Furkan Ars.
Every touch of the ball from the Brazilian players being accompanied by an ole by the Brazilian presidents, who are taunting, very gently taunting, the Türkiye side in the remaining seconds of the match.
Well, Cecim has scored a hat-trick, 2 from the penalty spot, 1 from open play. He now tries his luck with another set piece. It is Cecim, struck it with power but no precision. The ball goes out of play, and we've still got 90 seconds or thereabouts of added time. Coming next, though, Argentina against Mexico. Argentina featuring Sergio El Kun Agüero. There's Kelvin, there's another goal. It's a dozen for the Brazilians, and believe it or not, it is 7 for Kelvin. 6 goals that are worth 7.
Absolutely phenomenal performance when you need your star man to step up. Kelvin certainly did so. His speech pre-game was good. His actual play during has been off the charts. It's the biggest win we've had so far at the Kings World Cup Nations. Brazil, 12 goals.
And as they say in the country that birthed the Kings League, he's a crack, quite simply. He is a superstar, Kelvin, and he's shown it once again here. And if anyone is to beat Brazil en route to winning this competition, they're going to need to shackle Kelvin, who's now pulling out the Rabona. Kelvin gets to the loose ball first. It will break the way of Rufino. They want a 14th goal, Brazil. They don't get it because the shot is saved. Nice try from Shoku.
Brazil not letting off right until the end.
Kelvin! Good save.
Oh my word.
That would have been his best goal, and he's already scored 7 of them. And even Gaulis was shocked by the force behind that effort. That's a great piece of skill. Nearly put into the top corner. They're enjoying themselves. That was Li Pao turning on the style.
Just toying with Turkey at the moment. They're absolutely toying. That was a good ball, actually, as it happens, from Memos Sosa.
And with that, the 3 added minutes have come to an end. The biggest winning margin we've seen in the Kings World Cup Nations, and it comes in a knockout match for the Brazilians. The Seleção win by a remarkable scoreline, 12 goals to 4 in the end. Kelvin Oliveira leading from the front. He got 6 all told, 7 as it counted, because one of those has scored in the final 2 minutes. Cecin with a hat-trick for Türkiye in a losing cause. And now we're going to see who meets the Brazilians in the semi-final. Mexico and Argentina getting on court. But we will leave you very shortly with the highlights of this match.
What a huge statement win from Brazil that is. In the quarterfinals, it's not in the first game or in the second game. This is actually Brazil toying with what has been one of the best defenses, one of the most physical teams as we go through the post-match statistics. Expected goals, 4.14 for Brazil. They end up with 12, which just outlines as well the quality of their strikes. Just the flair has been off the charts in the game as well. They really turned on the style at the end of the match. Turkey as well, with expected goals of 3, 2 of them were from the penalty spot. That's quite good. Brazil into the semi-finals. Morocco, Colombia on the other side of the draw for a place in the final. And it'll be either Argentina or Mexico against Brazil.
Argentina, the land where the gods of football reside. From the white of the clouds and the blue of the sky emerged La Albiceleste. When nothing seems to go right, the miraculous hand of God appears once again to reach an impossible victory. Mexico knows better than anyone how big a Kings World Cup is. They hosted it before, but couldn't win. Now their thirst for revenge has become a ritual of the favorites without a crow. From beyond toward victory.
The last quarter-final at the Kings World Cup Nations. It is Argentina and Mexico for a place in the semis against Brazil.
Bueno, chicos, acá... ¿Qué hace, pa? Está boludeando. Hay un video de un amigo, ustedes, bueno, ahora lo van a conocer. Fue campeón del mundo, campeón de la Copa América, de todo. Y encima fue protagonista en todas las finales. Así que acá les dejo el video.
Bueno muchachos, bueno quiero desearles lo mejor para hoy, espero que todo salga bien, que sigan jugando como lo vienen haciendo, así que nada, vamos con todo, un abrazo muy grande y vamos a Argentina.
Buena, Narigón.
Angel Di Maria there with the message for the Argentinian team. And now it is Mexico.
Bueno, banda, no sé ustedes, pero yo estoy muy feliz de estar aquí. Estoy disfrutando mucho cada partido con ustedes. No nos vamos a volver a juntar en mucho tiempo, así que quiero alargar esto lo más que se pueda. Y en especial, hoy quiero que se partan la madre por un compañero, Brian, que hoy no va a poder estar con nosotros en la cancha, pero vamos a correr por él y nos vamos a partir la madre. Y esta victoria y cada gol va a ser por ti, hermano. ¡Venga, México!
Viva Mexico, the message from Obed Martinez. And now it is time for the national anthems. Argentina against Mexico. What a game this promises to be, the last quarter-final of the Kings World Cup Nations. The Mexicans looking to fire themselves up with a really passionate display and song in the national anthems. Kun Agüero teeing up Argentina in this game. Patrick Kendrick, how do you see this one going?
Well, there's Javier El Pupi Zanetti, the Inter Vice President and Argentina legend as well. He's here to cheer on the Albiceleste. The Twitch viewers see it as Argentina having the edge. My hunch is that they will just get the better of Mexico, Obed Martinez et al. And we are hoping it is as tight and as tense as yesterday's second quarter-final when the US and Morocco went to a shootout.
Yeah, we've seen Turkey, who were billed as one of the best defences so far in the Kings World Cup Nations. It's the same for Argentina as we see the drawing of the Spotify secret card. Argentina 100% in terms of getting the shootout.
Indeed, two games, two shootouts for the Argentines, and if they were to get that again, they've got a pretty accomplished number 10 there, Sergio Agüero, El Kun, who is a team owner as well, lest we forget. But there is huge support for both of these sides in the arena, where we've already seen plenty of Brazilian fans turn out to watch their dominant display a little bit earlier, before they beat Türkiye. But now it is the turn of these two Latin nations, Simon. Mexico with Obed Martinez, but Argentina led by the icon that is Sergio Agüero.
Yeah, Argentina, who are going to start with Ezequiel Cohen alongside the goalkeeper, as expected. Obed Martinez will kick-start things for Mexico. So much excitement today to finally see Kun Agüero play for the Albiceleste. It's time for the lights, and off we go. The last quarter-final, lights on, lights off.
And Obed Martinez tearing after the ball, which descends from that 5-metre cage once again. Obed Martinez winning the tussle against Cohen. And we've already seen what a technical player he is. Monterde as well is very accomplished. We've seen plenty of Mexico's matches throughout this competition so far. Goalkeeper no stranger to shooting from distance, but Obed Martinez will try his luck.
Yeah, here's Obed Martinez looking for a first shooting chance, and he's denied by a really good save. Luis Sanchez there sticking out a strong right boot.
Well, he opened up the angle there, Obed Martinez. The only surprise is that he didn't actually score. Yes, the goalkeeper made the save. Down at his near post, one you'd expect him to accomplish. Would have liked to have seen Obed Martinez maybe go back across the goalkeeper, but he'll try again.
Yeah, the good thing for Mexico is they get the ball back. Obed Martinez trying to get past Cohen, same way. Little bit of a trip, no. Obed Martinez, and he's denied by the woodwork this time.
Well, this could be a sign of things to come. It is very early to be reading the tea leaves, but these could be negative omens for Mexico. So often they've started their matches in this competition with goals, and this time Obed Martinez denied by the upright, having got the better of the goalkeeper, but not this time. And Argentina will breathe a big sigh of relief. There could have been 2 down already.
We've seen how important it is as well, these opening minutes in the game. Cohen just given a little bit of a talking to by the referee. Obed Martinez actually complaining that there might have been a little bit of a tug, and I think there is a check ongoing here.
Está mirando.
Está mirando.
Hay, pero está bien, Joan.
So está bien, we can play on. So nothing wrong with the challenge, and Argentina finally get the ball in an attacking position.
And we're going to see what they're all about in the attacking thirds, and they are committing the goalkeeper forward, Luis Sanchez.
Pablo Gomez hanging on the far side. Luis Sanchez, who scored already, but he finds Pablo Gomez. Sanchez, side to side it goes here from the Albiceleste. That's good play. And Monterde read it really nicely. Is that late from Cohen? Entitled to go for the ball, but it's going to be an early moment of drama here as the yellow card is brandished by the referee, and Argentina are a man down.
Well, Cohen slipped, that's why he was late to the ball. I don't think there's a lot wrong with that. He's actually pulling out of the challenge. It's the goalkeeper's momentum which takes his head into the stray leg of Cohen. You could argue the Argentine player should have tried to hurdle the goalkeeper, but it all stemmed from him actually slipping when trying to retrieve that through ball, that lovely bit of skill, the flick. He couldn't get there, and all of a sudden Mexico have the edge.
And Mexico here, who will welcome their third outfield player. And you almost wonder whether they could make a substitution and bring on 4 outfield players with Monterde heading off. Monterde, as we've seen, is more than capable of striking the ball.
So too is Obed Martinez. That's who Mexico will be looking to get the ball to.
Here's Cisneros.
I saw Cisneros actually score one into the top corner. It was a beauty. So he's capable too.
Obed Martinez, third shooting chance, and finally puts away by the Mexican superstar. Obed Martinez opens the score.
That's why they frequently try and get the ball to the skipper. He's so good in front of goal. It was an anomaly that he was kept out by the goalkeeper in the first instance, that he was denied by the woodwork in the second. Third time lucky, Obed Martinez gives Mexico the opening goal.
Luis Sanchez kept his cool. Can he unleash here? It's gone a long way, the goalkeeper mustn't lose it, that's for certain. He has lost it.
Yeah, good work from Chu Perez there.
Obed Martinez. Mexico slowing it down a tad. Cisneros out wide. Here he is again. Obed Martinez hanging free down that left flank as Argentina still have 40 seconds on that yellow card. And it's a brilliant save by Sanchez, denying Barrocochoa.
Offside, I think, in the end, but Barrocochoa didn't know that, nor did the goalkeeper when he made himself big. But this is something I've been considering, Simon, in recent days. You do feel with Mexico that if you can keep quiet, Obed, then you have a big chance to go on and win the game. It's not like Brazil or indeed Colombia, death by 1,000 cuts. They can hurt you from any area of the pitch. If you keep this man quiet, easier said than done.
Yeah, Baruch Ochoa is a handful, but he's been a little bit off target throughout the tournament.
And I enjoyed that message pre-match as well. You know, it was Obed Martinez saying, we're here for Brian, who can't be here today. That was in reference to Brian Hernandez, who was injured in the lead up to this.
Absolutely gutted. Brian Hernandez put out a message on social media, didn't he, Patrick? Saying he was so upset. Obviously, health and safety of the players comes first in every instance.
Well, no sign of Agüero just yet, but they are clearly holding him back. That's a clever ball if you can latch onto it.
Yeah,
I've seen them work that before. Augusto actually headed one into that top corner.
Obed Martinez takes over for Mexico, as he so often does. That one played back and picked up by Cesar Bernal, who's once again on the ball here. And it's miscontrolled on the sidelines by Jesus Chuy Perez, who's also been very lively for Mexico throughout the tournament.
This is the first milestone of the match. 5 minutes have now gone by, which means it is 7v7. 6 outfield players plus goalkeeper, and no more. That was a late challenge coming in from Gomez on his opposite number, Obed Martinez. No more will we see players coming in this staggered start.
A staggered start, which so far has smiled towards Mexico, but would you say, PK, that they'll perhaps be a little bit disappointed because they had chances, and that's a big mistake, which returns the ball to Argentina, who waste no time in moving it along? Yeah, they haven't really maximised their opportunities because they had those 3 big chances for Obed Martinez. He only scored 1 of them. Argentina haven't really tested Monterde at all, and yet they're only 1-0 down. Pablo Gomez played to Augusto. Argentina just looking to get themselves on the ball a little bit more. That's a clever little dink into the area. Held up and behind for a corner.
Personally, Simon, I would have liked to have seen the player attack that with his head. He let it drop for the colleague behind him. Agüero taking a sitting position. See whether he is going to be stepping out to take the presidential penalty or not. But great to see him stripped in his playing kit. We've been teased, and this has been spoken about all week, whether El Kun would play. He will play. He'll also be in action in that Legends game on Sunday.
Sambueza now up against Obed Martinez. Sambueza looking for a little bit of space. Once again, it's a corner for Argentina. Mexico look really fired up ahead of the game for this one. And that's straight into Monterde's hands.
Yeah, they haven't had many opportunities, Argentina. Okay, set pieces don't have the same value as they do maybe in the 11-a-side game, but it's still a corner opportunity, and the pitch is smaller, lest we forget, so you need to maximise those chances. It was wasteful playing it straight into the goalkeeper's arms.
And you have to say as well, just to echo what you're saying, Patrick, that Argentina have got the bigger players, so there is a mismatch in terms of size. Perhaps not there. Sambueza is dispossessed, but it's a free kick.
And we've seen them as well score with their head, which is not necessarily the most customary fashion when it comes to scoring in Kings League, but plenty of players have produced some headed goals. Who can forget Alvarado of Peru, one of your favourites, but we have seen it. If you can get the service right, it is as valid a method of scoring as any other.
Argentina still looking to get their first goal of the game. The switch was on. Augusto, however, would have had to be about 5 meters tall to keep that in.
They've looked for that several times. Augusto Fernandez, who did score that goal in one of Argentina's earlier games in the tournament from that exact passage of play. It's something they work on clearly, but they need to get the first portion of it right for him to be able to beat the goalkeeper with his head.
2 sets of players who know each other very well. Play for Muchachos FC and for the Cyans FC. Mexicans and Argentinians overlapping in both those club teams. Pablo Gomez. Just feel it's a little bit pedestrian at the moment from Argentina.
Yeah, they've very rarely got in behind Mexico. You want to really try and get down the sides, get those cutbacks. Or you need to try and get on the edge of the box and get half a yard to get a shot away, because if you can do so, there's a real opportunity to beat the goalkeeper. We've already seen that plenty of times in this tournament.
Yeah, Barroco Ochoa not fouled there, according to the referee. Of course, were Argentina to win this, it would be a thrilling setup with Brazil, their arch rivals in terms of football. Obed Martinez, that's lovely feet.
Yeah, it's a proper old-fashioned number 10. I know he wears 20.
Shooting chance here, perhaps, for Argentina. Eventually just cleared out of danger from Cesar Bernal. Argentina just getting a bit of rhythm here, Patrick.
They are, and dare I say it, from the name, he sounds more Brazilian than Argentine. Rafael João, I don't know whether he's naturalized or not, whether he's got one parent from each, but if we were to have a Brazilian game against the Argentines in the semi-final, that might be one to inquire about.
Facu Romero about to come on for Argentina. This is Augusto. Good defending once again from Mexico. And Obed Martinez trying to bring a little bit of clarity to their attacking play. It's broken to Argentina in a good position here. Shot is wide, though.
João dragging it wide. He's had a couple of opportunities there, and that's probably why he's going off. They may have already planned that particular change, but certainly had he taken one, if not both of those chances, I'm sure they would have kept him on the pitch. He trudges off in disappointment.
What we've seen from Argentina throughout the competition is very traditional fighting displays, but they've not scored many goals. That has to be said.
You're spot on. There was that 2-1 win that they had earlier on in the competition. That they were fairly comfortable. They've been good defensively, and we witnessed that again so far. They needed a bit of the rub of the green, if you'll excuse the expression, given they're up against the Mexico side wearing their traditional tricolor, which features green shirts. But here's a chance potentially. Overhit again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was 4-2 against Spain in the opening match, and then 2-1 against Japan, I think, in match 2. Obviously, they missed last chance. These are the quarterfinals. So Brazil had more goals in their last game than Argentina have had in the whole tournament so far.
Well, especially when you consider that goals are often worth double, either with a secret card, that was a clear foul from the Mexican player holding his Argentine opponent, or in the final 2 minutes of play. So to only score 2 goals in a Kings League match and win it is pretty surprising, very unusual, I would suggest.
Referee just telling the Argentine players, you worry about playing, I'll worry about the rest, as the foul on Martin Mantovani was judged to be a little bit too rugged by his teammates. Augusto asking why that wasn't a yellow card.
There are a couple of separate Mexican streams going on here, and the one with the 2 girls, the brunette and the blonde, she actually, the brunette this is, took her headset off to take a break in streaming so that she could actually shout at the referee, or perhaps make some encouraging remarks to her compatriots out there in the green. But clearly, streaming duties secondary in importance to cheering on her nation.
In the meanwhile time, Antonio Monterde with another save. He made one a little bit earlier on, but not really been tested in any significant manner yet, Monterde. Everything he has done, you expect him to keep out. Barroco Ochoa there continues his tussle with Mantovani, who exchanges niceties with Ochoa. But as we've seen from Mexico throughout history, they will defend with everything they've got, PK.
They will indeed, and that's been an underrated side of their game, I think. We've spoken about Obed Martinez, who's in the 1v1 situation there, and he wins the challenge.
Thomas Lawrence absolutely loves Obed Martinez. If Mexico were to win, he'd be over the moon. This is Romero.
Especially because Thomas Lawrence will be back on duty tomorrow with you, Simon, for the 2 semi-finals. We know 3 of the 4 teams. We're waiting to find out who'll be the final side in the last 4. Might not be Argentina on that evidence.
No, Argentina really, really struggling. But this is something that we probably haven't outlined enough. with Argentina reaching the quarterfinals with those 2 wins, but both wins were incredibly narrow, not particularly convincing. And
yeah, in an ideal world, you would be both solid at the back and also free scoring at the other end of the pitch, but very few teams combine that. Maybe only Brazil, but even then they did concede 4 against Türkiye. A bit of ill discipline costing them conceding those penalties to Chechim.
this might be a chance though for Argentina. They've got numbers, shooting, surely, and put just wide.
Well,
what a chance.
A huge chance that's gone begging, and Franco Romero knows it too. He had the chance to square it. He decided to go for goal himself. He was off balance when he struck it. Even then it appeared like it was arrowing towards the top corner, and that could be a huge moment in this match.
Don't you think he delayed it a bit too long? I thought the window opened up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I thought once he was delaying, I was fully expecting him to just roll it square to his teammate, but in the end he went for goal himself, which is also another option. The teammate Tran had opened up space, but you've got to at least work the goalkeeper. He didn't even hit the target.
Here's Sambuesa, one of the more experienced players in the Argentina side. Augusto's made the run, and the header was there, but it's off target.
And that's the other Romero, that's Facu, alias Facundo. Was really fizzed in towards his head. He was brave there. Kun Agüero will, I'm sure, come on at some stage. But, Simon, we witnessed the Uzbekistan goalkeeper, one of your favourites, Yangirov Kitobchi, making saves with his head. So it's clearly a facet of this game, just putting your head in the way of the ball, even when it's absolutely fizzed in.
Facu Romero, that was a useful touch. Sambuesa, good challenge by Cesar Bernal.
He's a big boy, Cesar Bernal, and I remember him scoring a header for Mexico in one of their matches this week, so he's a threat at set pieces. High boot there on Obed Martinez, meantime, who hasn't put a foot wrong. I don't think he ever even makes the wrong decision, let alone doesn't execute to perfection.
I said this to you the other day, I'll say it again though, I really like his boots. I'm partial to that colour as well, but Obed Martinez, he carries his team. I think it's what you were saying earlier, the fact that if he's not on it, Mexico aren't on it. And that can be the danger for Mexico going forwards, if they go forwards.
Yeah, and we're just 2 minutes away now from the Red Bull dice roll to energise us with a break. I've been supping a Red Bull myself, and a challenge is flying in. The dice, Simon, is going to be rolled by the Inter legend, their all-time leading appearance maker, Javier Zanetti, who is also a restaurateur in Milan. I don't know if you've ever been to any of his restaurants. There's one near my place if you'd like to go for a steak dinner. Well worth a visit.
Oh, I would love to go.
El Gaucho, I went there with Will Fraser, who you know as well.
I do. I would be well up for that. This is a chance. Oh, great defending.
Handball,
and then put
handball,
over.
surely. Well, offside.
Offside. Argentina through Navajas Sanchez as Facu NVJ on the back of his jersey. Found a little bit of space.
Feliz Navajas. Feliz. He won't be very happy after that miss, but he was offside.
But I like the play on words.
I try.
Here's Monterde once again, as we have 1 minute to go until the Red Bull roll of the dice.
We do indeed, and he's a lovely man, Javier Zanetti. He's a one-club man, essentially, in Italy. Came to Inter very young in 1995. He was one of Massimo Moratti's first signings. Stayed at the club for years. Overtook Pepe Bergami's all-time leading appearance records. It's just not going in, though, for Argentina. They could do with Zanetti out there, dare I say. His nickname was El Tractor, the tractor.
Facu Romero with that strike again. And one of the great things about Javier Zanetti is that he's such a well-respected figure as a human being. Obviously admired massively for his footballing skills, but involved in plenty of charities, both in Italy and in Argentina, in terms of helping children who come from poorer backgrounds. He's really a wonderful human being.
He is, yeah, the Pupi Fundación that he runs with his wife. And now it is time, there he is, in his civvies, in Borghese, Javier Zanetti. Used to see him in a shirt and tie, but he's wearing an Argentina tracksuit, and he rolls a 5, Simon.
It's a 5, which probably in terms of the show is not the most flamboyant. However, in terms of what Argentina won, it's probably not bad, because I don't think they would have enjoyed a 1v1 or a 2v2.
Yeah, because especially with Obed Martinez in particular.
Get ready.
Well, on paper, Simon, this is not necessarily the most spectacular outcome you can get when you roll the Red Bull dice, but then again, we've seen quiet periods when it's 1v1 or 2v2. Who knows what's going to come about with 5v5?
That's true. Mexico will be the first to the ball. Remember, it has to go backwards. That was really cleverly done, actually, by Cisneros. Now Obed Martinez, shot blocked. He's not getting a moment's rest, is he, Patrick?
No, and when you've got a player like him who's a talisman, you need to keep him out there as much as you can, fitness levels permitting, but he does seem to be in remarkable shape as well, Obed Martinez. And he's young enough too, 1996, so he won't turn 29 until this year, if I've got my maths right.
You do, because I'm turning 31 and he's 2 years younger than me.
There you go. Just plays more experience than his age.
Cesar Bernal, that's an absolutely wild effort at goal. For all that we've been saying about Argentina not creating, though, Mexico has been defending a lot and they're only a goal up, so by no means have Mexico put in a really resoundingly dominant performance here, and I think Brazil will be watching this and licking their lips.
I think this is symptomatic of what's at stake really here. Yes, Kings League has been devised with the rules to certainly foster attacking football, but we haven't necessarily seen it. We might here, though. We haven't seen it, Simon, because now the stakes are high. There's a semi-final place on the line, and if you have the option of winning the game by playing with a tight performance or being more aggressive and maybe losing, you're going to choose the former option, and I think both teams have been cagey here.
That's true. Here's Gomez. It's spilled by Monterde! One of Mexico's best players since the start of the tournament gets it horribly wrong, and Argentina level.
They needed something like that, Argentina, to give them a bit of momentum. Zanetti salutes it. It was a very undistinguished piece of goalkeeping from Monterde. Credit to Pablo Gomez, though. If you don't shoot, you don't score. That's something Sergio Conceição said recently, the new Milan head coach. And Monterde was outfoxed in the end by the spin as well that he imparted on the ball with that very curious bit of technique. One each.
Yeah, one each, and something that might just galvanise Argentina, bring a bit more life to their performance. Facu Romero's been excellent since coming on for Argentina. He's getting a little bit of a breather as Obed Martinez tried to play that one through. Here's Mantovani, who also very rarely misses any game time. Crucial at the back for the Albiceleste. Here's Joao. Joao, tailed by Obed Martinez. Mexico boxed into the corner, but Mexico win the ball.
Absolutely, and there are no seats to be had here at the Kings Arena on the south side of Milan, because all of those official seats have been booked out. We've got people standing pitch side. And just to underline, Simon, how tight this game is, one each at the break.
Yeah, 1-1 at half-time. Half which has been more tactical than flamboyant, that's for certain. Argentina will be pleased, and you feel that the momentum will perhaps be with Argentina going into the second half. We're going to hear from both corners now.
Estamos bien, muchachos, estamos bien, no le bajemos la intensidad, no le bajemos la intensidad, carajo, dale.
Nos han podido matar, estamos vivos, vamos, vamos, hay que aprovecharlo. Vamos que están cagados, vamos, vamos.
Una, dos vueltas y lo encaramos, muchachos. Una, dos vueltas y se desarman. Se desarman, no siguen paredes, viejo.
Dale, ellos no quieren más, Ellos
Vamos.
quieren más.
Chamo.
Nosotros no estamos cansados,
Estamos bien, ¿sí? Salimos con Manto, ¿sí? Augusto, Ezequiel, Facu Navaja, Sambu, ¿sí? Y Kun arriba. ¿Vale? Lo que hablamos, ¿sí? Si Kun se viene para acá, por ejemplo, si Kun se viene para acá, Navaja con Manto ahí, ¿sí? Facu Navaja.
Uno solo, güey. De ley va a haber uno solo, encuéntrenlo.
Sí, por eso. Pero háblale desde antes. Gaby, pícalo ya.
Ritmo alto de juego, pase, control, confianza. Vale, cambio de orientación. Venga, vamos chicos, va.
This is interesting. Secret card being playing off the restart of the second half here by the Mexican side, and we're going to waste no time in discovering what it is. Star player.
And we know who that green armband is going to be given to. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Obed Martinez for the Mexicans. The Spotify secret card gives them the number 20 then, Obed Martinez, who for the moment is going to take a breather, but for those of you who are new, no, in fact, he's going across to get the green card, and it is now the turn for this second half of the iconic Argentina number 10, Sergio El Kun Agüero.
What an amazing player, El Kun Agüero, who, of course, is remembered mostly for his time at Manchester City.
Agüero!
One of the most dramatic finishes you will ever see, if not the most dramatic, to a football season. But it's all to play for in the second half here at the Kings League Arena in Wismara, Milan. Ball has to go backwards. Bit of a melee there. One back by Mexico.
I'm very keen to see how much pressing Agüero does. He's always been stocky in terms of his size. And we shouldn't forget what a precocious talent he was, Agüero. He was already playing men's football, burst onto the scene age 15 for Independiente, had an amazing career, and it'll be interesting to see what he's able to produce here, whether he's going to be playing with his back to goal or whether he'll be making those runs in behind.
Well, we saw in the build-up to the show, didn't we, that he was absolutely slotting them whenever he gets the chance. Agüero backing more often than not that he's going to score it, so that'll be something that at the very least will keep the Mexican defence really occupied.
Our colleague Thomas Lawrence, rather churlishly in my opinion, reminded me several times that Agüero has actually missed a penalty in the Kings League. So, you know, Tolo, he loves his stat, he's done his homework, and he thinks that there could be a precedent there, which we might need to elaborate on later on. But first and foremost, who's going to score the next goal, which could be vital in this game?
Cisneros looking... Ooh, that's a big collision, but nicely dealt with by the players. Good show of sportsmanship between Mantovani and Jacob Morales.
And good to see that those LED boards are robust. We actually had one break prior to tonight's action. There was glass, some debris on the side of the pitch, but they got it cleaned up.
Taken shorts and then skied. That was a chance, a very big chance.
Diego Martinez needed to keep his knee over the ball there. It did bounce up. It was an awkward height for him. Tried to take it early, but just couldn't keep it down.
There's a risky slide tackle as well from Mantovani. Has to be careful with that kind of play. Now, the good thing as well about the star player for Mexico is there's no time limit on it. Now, whereas a double goal or a player suspension has that 4-minute set time to it, Obed Martinez will have all of the second half, and if he scores, then it will count double.
Yeah, but it's one and done. If and when you score, you can only do it once. Here come Argentina.
El Kun was waiting in the middle, and already a sign of frustration from Agüero.
Yeah, because you can understand it as well. There was the chance to square it, and instead he didn't. He was a little bit greedy, Augusto Fernandez.
Counter-attacking chance here for Mexico. They choose to just let it go out of play, and it'll be a throw-in now. Lobo wants the ball. Lobo, who is Jacob Morales, easier for me to say Lobo.
Means Wolf, I think.
I'll trust you on that one. He wanted a foul. He's going to get the foul.
Here he goes.
Lovely vision. Too many green shirts there getting in the way of
because the
Paco
first
Sanchez.
touch from Navas was not the best, really.
Argentina's starting to control this one, Patrick.
They are, and I think it's almost the fear factor that he brings. He's an intimidating figure, Agüero. You know, once he's on the pitch, you need to have eyes in the back of your head to keep tabs on where he is, and that means other players will be free as a result. We've already seen evidence of that.
And it's Juan Cisneros who's the closest player to Kun Agüero, who surprisingly is out wide on the left and perhaps not in the middle.
And what I love about Kings League, Simon, is the interest from all of the other nations and the supporters. It's not just Mexicans and Argentines that are in here. We've got Italian streamers watching, the Brazilians are live streaming. Plus, we've got all of those broadcasts. You know, we have our Italian, our English, our Spanish feeds. Here's Agüero!
Oh, my word! That's why! All you need to do is give him the ball.
That's what they came to see. El Kun with an absolute stunner.
What an honour for you as well, Patrick, to call his first goal in the Kings World Cup Nations.
Well, it almost came out of nothing. I think the Mexicans were caught off guard. We were close to missing that ourselves. Oh, fabulous technique.
On his weaker left foot as well.
I think it's harsh, isn't it, to call any foot that Sergio Agüero possesses weak. It is weaker than his right, but it's still an absolute hammer.
Well, there's a VAR check now for a foul in the build-up. Now, Patrick and I, who are both English, tend to disagree with slight contacts being free kicks.
Also, Simon, you know, you need to look at the overall growth of the game. You need, well, it's going to be disallowed, isn't it? He's caught him on the heel. That freeze frame is pretty damning, I think.
Yeah, but in real time, you have to watch in real time. I'm not a fan of VAR, whether it's Kings League or, shall we say, more traditional football, being slow motion, because it takes the context out of the equation.
Pablo Gomez with the challenge.
Visión está clara, said the referee.
Okay, perfecto.
No, it's very soft, Simon.
It's a free kick, so the goal doesn't count. The thing is, Lobo actually has control of the ball, so he could have played on.
Again, I'm looking at the overall growth of Kings League, and this is our Kings World Cup Nations. And that's where you just want the referees to have a bit more common sense. I know the stakes are high, but you've got a very clippable moment there, and social media is so important for the visibility of this game. You've basically now had Agüero's first goal at this level for his country, and what a goal, ruled out over a very soft technicality. That's my view. Call me a cynic. You know, the Mexicans will disagree with me, but I'm gutted.
Yeah, the Mexican players, though, I think need to keep carrying on playing here. The Argentinian head coach, actually, after the decision was made, said to the assistant next to him, you could have played on, he could have played on. That I think is the most contributing factor for me to the decision, is he still had possession of the ball and it was very minimal contact. Anyway, put una pietra sopra and move on.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that conversation. Cisneros is down now. He's the player who's taken a tumble. Agüero will have to do it all again, but that's why he's going to be so potent at this level. He was brilliant enough at 11's side, but when you can see him anywhere on the pitch. And a reminder of our institutional partners who've got the Piedmont region, the city of Turin, the Metropolitan City Council, IREN, and indeed the Cultural Foundation of Turin. All of those partners giving us a hand in setting up this event, co-hosted between Milan here at Wiesbaden, renamed the Kings League Arena, and Allianz Stadium, home of Juventus, which will be the scene for the final. A big thank you to all of our partners and sponsors.
And it'll be our pleasure and privilege to be at that final. Me and you, Patrick.
Yep. Thomas Lawrence drew the short straw, out of action for the final, but he will do us very well tomorrow for the semis. And the Mexicans are just throwing themselves to the ground now, Simon. He's got straight back up, he wasn't hurt. He yelped out in pain. I don't like to see that.
No, neither do I. I think if you cry out in pain and then get immediately up, I think that should be a simulation. There is going to be a President penalty called by Mexico, and as the ball has gone immediately out of play, it will be taken immediately by the Mexicans.
So, big moment now for Mexico, and Bernal going across to give some encouragement. I think it's been Gabo Montiel, hasn't it, who's been taking these presidential penalties. I recognise him from his headwear. And I do like the bravado that they tend to have here. What he'll do is probably have his back to the goalkeeper initially. He'll pose for the camera and then he'll swivel and shoot, Simon. Let's see if he does it again.
He missed his last penalty. It was saved. And this is a big one. He's got his cap on here.
This is all part of his pre-shot routine. Tiger Woods, eat your heart out.
He has time. Usually a little bit unorthodox in the way he does things, and you can certainly see that here. The referee's going to blow his whistle. Montiel taking his time. Decent run up. And he's put it away. That's a brilliant penalty. And he was giving it all the chat ahead of the game to the Argentina president. And he's backed up his own chat with a goal.
Yeah, beautiful. The goalkeeper went the wrong way. No chance for Marcelo Barovero, who's on for this second half in the Argentine goal. And once he saw the goalkeeper move, he slotted it home. Very neatly taken indeed by Montiel, who is, from the looks of things, I think, wearing one of those Juventus third kits, I think, as well. So he's clearly got hold of a special edition. He clearly thinks he's going all the way to Turin.
President penalty called by Argentina. Immediate response by the Albi Celeste, and we saw Montiel there just high-fiving the Brazilian presidents, Gaules and everyone else. I think Gaules clearly would perhaps want to avoid a match, a grudge match with Argentina in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think you could well be right. So we're going to see now Agüero taking the presidential penalty.
He is a president, Agüero, so this is why this is going to be allowed. Now, his previous goal, which was a beauty, was disallowed.
But
are we going to have
James
it now?
Rodriguez missed yesterday for Colombia, so we'll see.
Monterte or Agüero, it's Agüero, it's perfect.
Absolutely no surprise there. No doubt that Agüero was going to score, having previously seen a goal ruled out for that VAR decision. And it's now 2 apiece.
All square, and a reminder that Mexico played their secret card right at the start of the second half. Star player for Obed Martinez, which means if Obed Martinez scores, the goal will count double. Argentina still have theirs.
Here's Agüero on the turn, trying to bustle his way through in the end.
You can tell that when you have class, it's eternal, isn't it, Patrick?
Yeah, they say form is temporary, class is permanent. You're absolutely right, and he is one of the icons of Argentinian football. We've seen so many of them. Angel Di Maria before the game as well. Still going very strong in the Portuguese top flight, one of the best players in that league for Benfica.
Angel Di Maria, who alongside Lionel Messi was instrumental to Argentina winning the last World Cup in Qatar. Scored against France in the final, did Di Maria.
And as Agüero said, every time that they've won trophies, Copa America, the World Cup, he's always had a key role in either assisting or scoring goals. He's a bit like Diego Milito, another Argentine, used to be for Inter in their treble-winning season, scoring in all of the key matches.
Had one of the very best left feet that we've seen in the players of his generation. Here's Sambuesa to El Kun Agüero. This time stopped, Agüero, but he wins it back. Mexican players not afraid to get physical with Sergio Agüero.
Let me hear your body talk.
They might be talking here. Scuffed it this time.
But you can tell that the Mexicans, they are very worried. They're a little bit panicked every time the ball goes near Agüero because they're well aware of what he can do.
Here he is once again. Mantovani, good play. Facu Romero now. Facu Romero with that left foot of his. Sambuesa. Good idea, perhaps a little bit too ambitious.
Yeah, I'm very curious to know as and when that secret card will be played by the Argentines. They do still have it, which is why there's that green dash graphic at the top of your screen. But a reminder of what we're working towards, the final of the Kings World Cup Nations. You can still buy tickets at kingsleague.pro, Allianz Stadium. That's the date for your diary, Sunday the 12th of January. We've also got a Legends against Streamers match. The Legends team or at least one of the teams will feature Agüero. We've got Casillas, Buffon and Pirlo as well, plus a performance from Mahmoud, an internationally recognised artist who was very decorated at the Eurovision Song Contest and the Sanremo Festival too.
Just to emphasise that final, over 40,000 supporters expected at the Allianz Stadium. Only a few tickets remaining. It should be a great occasion. Argentina seem to be growing in strength in this game. That was surely a foul, and it is.
Yeah, just a foul, just a free kick. No suggestion that would ever warrant a yellow card, despite some of the Argentina bench now waving in the direction of the match official, asking for a caution. They've taken it too quickly, and they're a bit disappointed because they had an overload there.
Let's not forget that this 2-2 scoreline is even more impressive, considering Argentina had a man sent to the sin bin at the start of the game as well, defender Cohen. And this might have broken to Baruch Ochoa. Good defending by Mantovani. Expected that from Mantovani to defend in that style.
And you made a good point earlier, Simon, which is that, yes, when we think about South American football, we often immediately think of Brazil and flair and attacking play, but Argentina are known for gritty defensive work as well, and we've seen lots of examples of that. They've been rock solid at the back.
I would say they haven't defended for quite a while, though. It's been all Argentina in terms of the ball. They need to try and unlock this Mexican side, who know all about defending themselves. Monterte this time doesn't spill it.
Yeah, Monterte gifting a goal. It was that first one for Pablo Gomez, which got Argentina on the board. Their second strike was courtesy of Agüero after that presidential penalty that he took, having seen a goal which initially looked valid be chalked off for a foul in the build-up. As for Mexico, that early strike from Obed Martinez, and since then just their presidential penalty from Montiel. Defence is on top in this fourth and final quarter-final.
Barely seen Obed Martinez in the second half. And to your point earlier on about the Argentina secret card, it depends what you get, because as time goes, well, there you go, right on cue. But because you have that 4-minute timeline on many of those Spotify secret cards, and therefore you have to use them with plenty of time as well, unless you get star player like Mexico did.
Yeah, and if this is a penalty, it might be the sort of perfect card to draw, because it's been a tight game. If you get the chance to score a penalty or even a shootout, then certainly unlikely to pass it up, especially if they can turn to Sergio Agüero again.
Double goal for Argentina.
Double goal. Well, is El Kun coming immediately back on? He's ready. He's taking his bib off.
He's just having a drink, taking his time. This is a 4-minute window they have where any goal that they could score would be worth double. And in a game which has been so tight, that could be a big momentum shifter. But it is, of course, relying on Argentina scoring in the first place.
And it's Navajas who's made his way onto the pitch. Now, the difference you might ask with the double goal and the star players, that Argentina can score as many goals as they want in the next 4 minutes. All of those goals will count double. Of course, Obed Martinez, no time limit, but as soon as he scores, then the double goal for him and him only is over.
Mexico have been really quiet in the second half. They've not looked like scoring at all. They've very rarely got even near the Argentine goal.
Cesar Bernal clips it forwards. Mantovani there. Navajas.
Well, it's becoming very direct. It's already been a bit scrappy. That was a heavy collision between both players. Ay, 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 it's kicking off.
Don't mind a little bit of feistiness, though, do we, Patrick? This is you're playing for a place in the semi-finals after all.
Yeah, and he's a brave man. They're taking on Bernal, is Franco Romero, because Bernal is one of the biggest units we've seen this week at the Kings League Arena. I certainly wouldn't be squaring up to him, especially not in a dark alley. And there are plenty of those in the Rozzano neighbourhood of Milan.
Here's Navajas. Augusto, who's also recently come back onto the pitch as Argentina once again dropped the rhythm of the game. It's been a feature of this match. We've had moments, very short moments at high tempo, but it has been a little bit too often pedestrian in this game as the perhaps magnitude of the match has taken hold of the players.
He's back on, Agüero. They have given him 2 of those 4 minutes to try and get a goal, which would be worth double and could give them a big push towards the semi-final against Brazil. But we shouldn't forget that the final 2 minutes of play are currently only going to be worth a golden goal because the score is level, Simon. If one team are winning, goals will be worth double. The header is over the top. It looked a little bit too high for him, but if the scoreline's level, then we're going to golden goal. How good would that be if Agüero could score that?
It would be so dramatic. And he might be one of the players to take out a shootout if we reached a shootout afterwards as well. Not there quite yet. Argentina still with 90 seconds to try and get a double goal. Mexico, one of the few times they've crossed the halfway line in this second half.
And you and I have each experienced one golden goal in this competition. You saw Jabarov of Uzbekistan finding the net. I was privy to Alejandro Ortega scoring the goal down to our right here as a free kick is given, but thankfully no further yellow cards. And the reaction, the golden goal's a throwback. You know, it was something which was brought in by IFAB for a couple of editions of international tournaments. I remember Laurent Blanc scoring against Paraguay for France. I remember David Trezeguet as well scoring one. So
Italy.
Yeah, so it is, you know, wonderful. But
it adds to the spectacle.
Yeah, it's the best way to win a game. There's nothing like scoring a goal, but if you score a goal that literally ends the game, we had that with Uzbekistan scoring with the final kick of the game against Peru, but that technically didn't end the game. It just happened to be the last kick of the game. If you score in a golden goal period, it literally ends the game.
That's a good switch of play to Cesar Bernal. Mexico finally seeing a little bit more of the ball. Obed Martinez, why not have a go?
I was thinking exactly that. You took the words out of my mouth. Instead, they nearly scored there. That was curious goalkeeping from Barovero. Took a big chance.
Massive sigh of relief, you would imagine, there from the Argentina camp. Looking over at the streamers, they couldn't believe that he didn't go at it with his hands.
Yeah, Chu Perez, it ricocheted off him and just went wide. The double goal has passed without incident. That's frustrating for Argentina. And unless someone scores in the next 2 minutes, we're going to have a golden goal scenario. But hang on here. Ooh. Oh, he's got to hit the target, Simon.
Navas, really good connection, but it just spinned the wrong side of the post, didn't it? And I was actually going to say, to complement what you were saying, Patrick, not only did Argentina not score in that double goal period, but I don't actually think they had a shot at goal during that double goal period. It came just afterwards. Here's Facu Romero, Kun Agüero, all glued to his feet when he has it.
Oh, good goalkeeping from Monterde, just about pushed it safe as well. I'm going out on a limb here with 70 seconds remaining until the 38-minute mark. We're going to have a golden goal. We're going to have one. Not only is it going to be a golden goal to decide it, there will be a goal in the final 2 minutes plus added time. One of these teams is going to score a goal to set up a semi-final. And that's how things stand. Kelvin Oliveira with those 6 goals earlier on, Simon, now streaking out in front.
Yeah, taking his tally to 11 in the top scorers list, followed by Nadir Lua and Obed Martinez. 11, 8, 8. Luis Morales and Aytuk Geçim have the 5 and 5 to complete.
And what you were saying earlier is we've got Nadir Lua, who's the reigning Corona de Oro, Kelvin Oliveira, who's hotly tipped to become the next Corona de Oro, and a lovely little subplot there, those two players who are both still in the competition, vying for the top scorers finish.
And who could meet in the final. You need to get a shot away, otherwise the clock goes dead.
Agüero! There goes the whistle at the 38-minute mark. It is 2 each. It means we're going to have a golden goal.
Well, it's all set up, and in many ways you probably thought that this is where the game was heading. Kun Agüero trying, and at the very least doing what very few teams have done in the last seconds, heading to the 38th minute, just getting a shot away. So golden goal, it cannot get more dramatic than this for a place in the semi-final, where whoever wins this, a reminder, will play against Brazil. Let's listen into the corners.
Y después intenso y orden. Si estoy seguro de anticipar y si no, trabaje, paciencia.
Trabaja él, sí, y un por delante. Salís un poquitito, sí, y trabajamos los 3 por detrás. Importante, mano a mano, presión para
And a quick recap then. Yes, it is golden goal for 2 minutes plus added time. If we weren't to have a goal in that period, we would go to a shootout, which is not a traditional penalty shootout. It's ice hockey style, where the players dribble from the centre circle. They have 5 seconds to score. Lights on, Simon.
Were a fan of MLS, you'll have seen that, particularly in the 90s. That's how they took their penalties. 5 lights. No lights. It's time for a winner here in Argentina, Mexico.
And first blood to the Argentines, winning the ball and winning a free kick. Get it to Aguero.
Look at him.
If we
Look at
won
him.
it with a free kick. Ay, 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 ay.
He's confidently walked over. He's got a very good calf game, hasn't he, Aguero?
This is your Aguero moment. You realise if he hits into the top corner, you can hold that O for as long as humanly possible. Let's hope your voice doesn't break. That's all I'm going to say. I'm a little bit jealous. I might have to take the streamers against Legends match on Sunday just to make sure I get my own Aguero moment. So I thought I had it earlier on when you were snoozing, but the VAR bailed you out.
It is going to be Kun Aguero who goes, takes a deflection and just over the crossbar.
Oh, I thought that was...
I teed it up.
You did, you really did. And Monterde relieved because he made a howler earlier on. He was nearly wrong-footed there. He wasn't getting there, I'm sure.
Corner Argentina. Mantovani comes, headed behind. No, it's going to be a throw-in. Argentina with Facu Romero, poked away again. Mexico just clinging on.
Surely you're looking to just toss it in towards Aguero, no?
You have to. Facu Romero toward Mantovani, punched away by Monterde.
Oh, that's a good ball. Now they've got Obed Martinez on the ball. Did he get the last touch? He did. It's an Argentina throw. And that might be a yellow card for Obed Martinez. He's got away with one there. The referee's showing a bit of clemency to keep him on the pitch.
And I think he's just told the Argentina bench where to go as well, Obed Martinez.
Well, no language barrier, is there, between the two Spanish-speaking nations?
Cisneros. Get the ball to Obed Martinez. If you're in the Mexican camp, nail-biting stuff. We're already into the 2 minutes of added time.
Someone's got to take a shot, though, Simon. This is a golden goal. We've only seen that Argentina free kick. Try your luck, son. Oh, he's giving it away.
Obed Martinez, that's why he's the captain, El Capitan, with the tackle.
Ay, 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 ay. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán.
That's from a song, isn't it?
It is. La Bamba.
Great song. Facu Romero.
Real tune.
Ooh, just clipped Facu Romero on its way out. It's a Mexico ball.
I might give us a rendition of La Bamba if we get a golden goal, but it's looking unlikely at this stage.
Still about a minute left. Arocochoa goes
dive,
down.
Surely, was it a foul, was it? The Argentine player saying his shirt was being pulled, and I tend to think there was much ado about nothing. Augusto Fernandez has now given Obed Martinez and the Mexicans a chance to crash one towards goal from the dead ball situation. Aguero now, it means a lot to him. Look at his face. He is deadly serious, as well he might be.
I think it's often been underestimated, the passion and the seriousness of this competition. Obviously, some people will turn their noses up at Kings League football, but whoever plays, whoever's involved, takes it very, very seriously. This is no gimmick.
Now, if Obed Martinez does strike this, you need to channel Thomas Lawrence. He wants to lift this potential goal out through you.
Has he messaged you?
I'm sure he's watching live.
It is Obed Martinez who thumps it. I tell you what, it was a really good hit.
Oh, he struck it pure. A bit like you on the squash court.
Well, it is going to be the most dramatic of finishes to this game. It will be a shootout, much like we saw in USA against Morocco. I guess the only question is now, Patrick, who do you see as winners in this one?
I'm going to go with Argentina. I just think we are destined to see Aguero line up against Brazil in an Argentina-Brazil semi-final. And it will be Aguero against Kelvin. A reminder, that Kelvin, who was the top scorer at the Kings World Club Cup, is also currently leading the way in terms of goals here at the Kings World Cup Nations. But, Simon, this is no ordinary shootout, as we mentioned. This is a shootout
no pasa nada.
where the players
Cada
dribble it
uno
from the
tiene una
halfway
capacidad
line.
muy buena para esto, entonces no dudemos, convencidos que lo vamos a ganar, cabrones. Pero necesito que lo hagamos con seriedad, que Toño sí o sí va a parar de perdido 2. Entonces, personalidad para tirar. ¿Estamos?
Personalidad para tirar. Get out, show personality when hitting the ball.
Sensaciones, ¿quién tiene
message.
sensaciones buenas? Venga, va. Sensaciones buenas, ¿quién tiene sensaciones buenas?
Having the
Venga, va.
gumption to stand there from 12 yards, or in fact to dash forward from the halfway line.
The Argentine head coach, on the other hand, saying who's got the right feeling for this one? Who's going to step up? He's asking for volunteers. One of the most dramatic penalty shootouts was Portugal, I think, in the 2016 Euro, when Ronaldo literally forced João Moutinho to take one, saying, João, you can hit them. Zanetti not looking very easy there. Exactly. There you go. That is why Patrick Hendrick is in this chair. Has a photographic memory.
Yeah. Shootout is another option as well to shoot. Comes from the English, but
Y si no, que no va a pasar con la frente en alto. Muchachos, hoy no nos podían parar. Contra todo y contra todos. Sí, señor, hostia.
I almost think they're a little bit under-prepared, Argentina. We heard about the Brazilians saying no one's worked hard on us, no one's prepared more than us for this. But if you're saying they're asking for volunteers, that makes me think that they haven't already foreseen this potential outcome, and they don't know the 5 names that need to step forward here. So, one to watch, maybe that gives Mexico the edge.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. A little bit surprised by that. Oben Martinez and Augusto go through the pre-match requisites here with the referee. Argentina against Mexico in the shootout.
So, yesterday we had the United States against Morocco. The shootout was taken at the goal away to our right. We'll see. It looks like the shootout is going to be the same way, albeit the Argentine player hasn't necessarily realised it because, well, in fact, he has. So it is like a traditional shootout. Best of 5, sudden death if we're level after 5, but with a twist. It's not a static shot from 12 yards. They have 5 seconds to take the ball from the centre circle, from the halfway line, to try and beat the goalkeeper. They can go round them. The most important thing is they get a shot away before the 5 seconds elapse and the buzzer goes.
And the first player up for Argentina is Pablo Gomez, number 20, up against Antonio Monterde. Monterde with a couple of good saves already in the game. Pablo Gomez, off he goes, and through the legs of Monterde, Argentina strike first.
How cool is that? It's one thing to beat the goalkeeper, it's quite another to spot the space between his legs and to slot it home. And Pablo Gomez, having scored in the 40 minutes itself, now finds the net in the shootout. Chuy Perez, Simon.
Yep. Chuy Perez to level things up here for Mexico. You can feel the tension inside the Kings League arena. Chuy Perez waits and fires home and true. Very, very good shootout.
Yeah, and this is a big departure from what we saw yesterday, actually. Morocco won 2-1 against the US in the shootout. The US missed all but one of their attempts. So far, we've had 2 from 2, flawless.
Paco Romero is up next. Argentina's speedster ready. Paco Romero up against Monterde. Beautifully done.
Well, again, you need so much poise and character there to be able to just go past the goalkeeper. Once he dropped the shoulder, the keeper knew what was coming, Monterde, but it was a desperate lunge and he couldn't get to the ball in time.
It's funny because usually in football you have one set of fans behind the goal. Now you got both, and 8 sets of fans having a word with the goalkeepers. Time now for Mexico to respond.
Number 77.
And slotted away calmly once again. Diego Martinez, the man who puts it beyond the Argentina goalkeeper, Marcelo Barovero.
Wow, this has been an absolute clinic so far, an advertisement on how you should be taking these shootouts. 2 from Argentina from 2, and so far Mexico haven't missed a beat either.
Martin Mantovani is up next. Plenty of experience. He's defended the Argentina goal now. He's trying to put them ahead, but he's missed it.
And he never looked comfortable, Simon. Never looked comfortable at all, Mantovani. The first few steps forward he took were laboured. Didn't move the ball with any conviction. He ran out of steam there as well. And in the end, he almost had to strike it like a free kick.
Yeah, didn't seem to really get it out of his feet when he had the shot. So now Mexico to go 2 ahead with Cisneros. Juan Cisneros, he looks confident, he looks calm, and he dispatches it brilliantly.
Mexico with 3 from 3. Cisneros gives them the lead for the first time in this shootout. They had been playing catch-up, but after the mistake from Mantovani, Cisneros, clinical.
Really, really, really good shootout there from Mexico. Sambuesa, this is huge.
You sense he needs to score, really.
Rubens Sambuesa. Oh, it's just gone in after licking the post on its way. That was a big moment for Argentina.
Sambuesa used every last inch of the goal there, just grazing the post on its way in. There was a touch from Monterde as well with his leg, and now Sambuesa has gone across to his goalkeeper and said, go on, do us a favour, Marcelo Barovero.
Barovero hasn't been close to any of the Mexican attempts. Can he get close? At least close now. Make life difficult for Mexico.
And Lobo scores off the post as well.
This is getting very, very tight. And now, if Argentina miss, it is all over. And it is not going to be El Kun Agüero, not yet, at least. It is going to be Rafael Joao, who is going to have the heavy responsibility of keeping his nation in the competition.
Yeah, we had a couple of match-winning chances yesterday. The first was spurned, the second, though, was taken. Now, can Mexico take the first of their match points by saving this?
Joao still.
He's missed it.
It's Mexico. They're the ones who are going through to the semi-finals of the Kings World Cup Nations after dominating the shootout against Argentina.
Incredible scenes here. Mexico deny us a Brazil-Argentina semi-final, but it's hard to disagree with this outcome. The tricolor were just the cooler of the two sides. Once we got to the shootout, 4 from 4, they didn't even need their 5th shootout penalty in the end. Disappointment for Agüero and the Albiceleste. Agüero is still bemoaning that decision from the officials to rule out his strike, but Rafael Joao, you have to feel for him, and you also need some sympathy for Mantovani too. They're the 2 villains of the piece, having missed. But Mexico were flawless. They showed the greater character. They showed their cool from the shootout, and it will be them playing Brazil tomorrow in that second semi-final.
And what an opposition of styles as well. We're going to see the flair, the technicality, the explosiveness of the Brazilians, Patrick, against what has been a very well-regimented defensive unit.
Yeah, and you have to say that all of our star players so far in this competition have now got the opportunity to grace the semi-finals, Simon. We have been amazed by the exploits of Obe Martinez. He'll be there with Mexico. We've been dazzled by Kelvin. He'll be there representing Brazil as their captain. We're going to see the likes of Alejandro Ortega for Colombia, and of course Fouad and Nadir for Morocco, the latter the reigning Corona de Oro. So we're going to have some star-studded players, each gracing tomorrow's semi-finals.
In many ways, the nations led by the best players, as you say, Patrick, have made it through to the semi-finals. We can see the end of the game statistics here very, very close. In fact, compared to the previous game, just 1.6 expected goals for Argentina, 1.13 for Mexico. This is how things are looking. Morocco, Colombia, Mexico, Brazil. One of those four nations will be the winner of the inaugural Kings World Cup Nations. Time now for the highlights.
So there we have it, the second semi-final, very dramatic, just like the second quarter-final, rather, I'm getting ahead of myself. Very dramatic, just like yesterday's second quarter-final. It went to a shootout. Morocco beating the US in that format yesterday. Mexico prevailing against Brazil in this particular format today. Earlier on, it was a comfortable victory for Brazil. A dozen goals for the Seleção to get past Türkiye, and it needed a shootout, Simon Harding, for Argentina to bow out against Mexico.
Yeah, really tight contest between Argentina and Mexico, to be expected certainly from Argentina, who haven't scored many goals throughout the competition. Mexico, who have been hot and cold at times, but they defended really well when they needed to in this game and then show their quality in the shootout.
They did, and that's what you need. You know, if you can make it as far as the shootout, it doesn't really matter how you played over the course of the 40 minutes. All that matters is getting yourself focused, being in a bubble, and concentrating on striking the ball as cleanly as you can. And that's certainly what Chu Perez, Martinez, Cisneros, and Lobo all did. The two errors from Mantovani and then Rafael Joao at the end. And so that is how we're set up for tomorrow. Friday, the 10th of January, Morocco against Colombia, Mexico against Brazil. It's very hard to call both of those matches. Whoever wins those two semi-finals will make it through to the final.
And time now to take a look at some of the highlights from the games that we have just had, starting with Argentina against Mexico, and an opportunity for us to once again thank you for your incredible support through watching the competition. 1.8 million people tuning in to watch this game between Argentina and Mexico. We saw Obed Martinez, who got the first goal for Mexico in the game after he missed a couple of previous chances.
He did. He had one saved and then he caught the post. Then there was that big error on the Pablo Gomez strike from Monterde. Agüero's goal looked like it stood, then it was ruled out, much to the dismay of Javier Zanetti. But Montiel scored his presidential penalty for Mexico. Kun Agüero did likewise for the Albi Celeste. That was 2 each, and there'd be no further goals, Simon.
No further goals. Couple of chances for Argentina, who you have to say dominated possession in the game, but never really created enough. And then in the shootout itself, couple of really good initial tries from both sets of players. Then Martin Mantovani was the first to miss. Mexico didn't miss throughout. The responsibility fell to Rafael Joao, who also missed. Mexico through, Mexico up against Brazil.
They are indeed, and we're hoping to get the opportunity to speak to the Brazilian President Gaules very shortly, and it will be great to hear from him about everything he's expecting from that semi-final indeed against Mexico, and also get his thoughts on Kelvin and just how well he played in particular. Kelvin scoring half a dozen goals today, now leads the way with 11 goals. He who was the top scorer in the World Club Cup, now he's leading the way in terms of goals at the World Cup of Nations. He's ahead of Nadir Loua. He's hoping to claim his crown, the Corona de Oro, as the best player in the world of the Kings League. And I'm delighted to say, Simon Harding, that Gaules is going to be joining us very quickly. He has left his post where he's joined by Chris Gates and Ustejario. He's got a massive smile on his face. So let's say welcome and first and foremost, parabéns to Gaules. Congratulations.
What a fantastic performance from Brazil. We saw you incredibly passionate throughout. Tell us your impressions of that victory.
I know that in the first match that we can't lose, right? Because the other ones we can have one game lost, but in the first one I think that we did a great job today. I'm very proud of the players.
Absolutely. Talk to us about the captain. I know it's a team effort, but Kelvin Oliveira, now 11 goals in the competition. It was the perfect performance from him.
Yes, he's my golden boy. I talked to him in this year to Kings League World Club. He played Foot 7 in Brazil for a long time. He played in some Brazilian teams like Grêmio. He played in the young players of Milan when he was younger. And it's a soccer made for him. When we saw him playing, we understand that he was made for these moments.
Now we know why he feels at home then, because he played in the Milan Academy. That explains why he's been so comfortable at Wismara.
And I asked Wembley about his name, and his father is very fan of the stadium and put Wembley in his name.
Fantastic.
Plenty of fans of Wembley Stadium. Just before we talk about your next opponents, Mexico, a question on your pre-match speech.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed it. We both really enjoyed it. So passionate, and you seem to really get Brazil going, as we're seeing the highlights here. Everyone was, from the get-go, switched on.
I'm telling them that no one in the world feels more comfortable in a soccer match than the Brazilians. And they are very passionate, but they work a lot to be here. They work a lot for the last years to improve. And I understand that maybe it's one only chance here to make the first championship of nations. So we are talking about that, to be a family, to run for each other, to support each other, and to understand that we didn't have to be afraid of this moment.
A nação do futebol, the footballing nation. There you go. That was great. And I loved what you were saying there. We always think when it comes to Brazil about flair and attacking football, but I loved what you were saying there about no one has worked harder than us. No one is more prepared than us, and it really showed on the pitch. Is that going to show against Mexico tomorrow in the second semi-final?
I hope so. I expect that Argentina is going to win, but I know that there's a lot of players from Mexico who plays Kings League America, so they understand a lot of the game. And will be a good match, but I think that it's a good opportunity to us to make the finals.
It's a real opposition of styles. Between you, the flair, you know, the superb goals, beautiful goals. Mexico, we saw here. Were you maybe surprised that they started well against Argentina and then really defended?
Yes, they know how to play this game. Mexico, they have skilled players, they have very strong players, and they understand how to play. So I hope that we are prepared for them tomorrow. We faced some players from Mexico in world clubs. Furia played against Olimpo, and G-Trax played against Reniza on club World Cup. So we already know some of them. We already played against some of them, and I trust that the commission is studying, and tomorrow we're gonna win.
We know you're in a hurry, Gaules, but before you go, there are three of you as the presidents. There's Chris Gates, there's Ustejario, and there's yourself. Who is going to take the presidential penalty in the semi-final?
It's hard because when we arrived here, we said we were gonna make one each one will make one penalty, and after that we'll let the players go. So I think that tomorrow maybe gonna be a shootout. We have to talk
a
today,
Kelvin shootout,
but
maybe.
now the players have to make the path.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
An
you.
absolute
It's a
pleasure.
pleasure.
And best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
That was one of the Brazilian presidential trio then, Gaules, a huge character in the game, and great to get his thoughts on what is to come tomorrow in particular, Simon. Morocco against Colombia, the first semi-final at 6 o'clock. You will be with Thomas Lawrence. And then Brazil, the turn of the Seleção, up against Obed Martinez et al., Mexico.
Yeah, some really fantastic fixtures. Four of probably what have been the best teams. So whoever has made it thus far, and that's what Gerard Piqué said during the quarterfinals draw, whoever makes it to the semi-finals will be the deserving teams, and that's certainly been the case here. The Legends match once again on offer at the Allianz Stadium. Before the final, you will have the chance to see the streamers and some past legends who will be playing in Turin.
Yeah, a second chance to see Sergio El Kun Agüero after he bowed out with Argentina in those agonizing circumstances. But yes, we're going to see Buffon, Casillas and Pirlo as well.
And there will be a show put on, musical show by Italian artist Mahmoud. Over 3.5 million followers for him on Spotify. So that is all to come.
Facciamo la tabacca mitraglia. Fuori fa 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 fa. Solo ta. Vedo bimbi col balaclava senza mamma.
All that is still to come on Sunday, the 12th of January at Allianz Stadium in Turin. But tomorrow we have the two semi-finals. You'll be in the company of Thomas Lawrence and Simon Harding. I thank him for today. That's me, Patrick Hendricks, saying good night from Kings League Arena.